Chapter 238. Your mother's name was Mu Hanyan. She was a gentle and elegant woman, perfect to the extreme. Speaking of which, your father and I both liked her, but she chose that fellow, Ling Zhen, in the end. When she was just a month old after giving birth to you, a terrifying expert came. It was said that he was sent by the Han Yan clan. Your father and I joined forces, but we couldn't even last a single round against him. A trace of nostalgia appeared in Xia Huang's eyes. When he mentioned that terrifying expert in the end, his face was filled with pain. That expert is at least at the monarch realm, and it's even to the extent that he might be an exalt realm expert. Because he was able to tear space apart before us and step into space with his physical body. He's an expert that's formidable to the point of arousing despair in others. He wasn't even prepared to let you go, but your mother begged him desperately, and he finally agreed to spare your life. His only request was that he couldn't tell you about your background and let you be an ordinary person. You couldn't even inherit the title of Demon King. Xia Huang's voice was filled with exhaustion, and a trace of anger appeared in his eyes. Tear space apart. These few words caused Ling Zhao's heart to tremble violently. A person who could tear space apart with his bare hands was definitely not an emperor, but an immortal Supreme Realm expert. There was actually a Supreme Realm expert behind his mother. That meant that his mother was at least from one of the holy lands of the martial Dao or a hidden clan on the War God continent. He didn't expect that she would have a relationship with that cheap father of his in this remote Eight Desolates region. Both your father and I were heavily injured in that battle. Because of the dragon vein, my injuries were even worse. So, I've been in closed-door cultivation for the past 3 years, but I've actually been recuperating. Your father's wish was for you to live a peaceful life, so he didn't want you to know about these things. Xia Huang said slowly. Then why are you telling me now? Ling Xiao asked. Because you already have the right to know about these things. Xia Huang's eyes glinted. You're only 16 years old, but you're already able to suppress sky snake descent with your cultivation at the Dragon Tiger realm. Moreover, you're an upper-level alchemist master. You're much stronger than your father was back then. Hence, I'm guessing that the peerless talent that your mother passed down to you has awakened. Furthermore, you've been accepted as a disciple by the muddle-headed old man. Your future is limitless. Therefore, I believe that you have the right to know your background and the ability to choose the path you want to take in the future. Most importantly, I hope that one day, you can find Ling Zhen and Han Yan. I will. Ling Xiao said calmly with a sharp glint in his eyes. Taking over this body meant inheriting everything of Ling Xiao. Naturally, he also inherited Ling Xiao's karma. Ling Xiao was a supreme sovereign who had once stood at the peak of humanity. He naturally knew how terrifying the power of karma was, so he accepted everything of Ling Xiao, including his parents. Alright. It's good that you know this. After all, although you are very talented, your cultivation is still very weak. This is also the reason why I called you here. I will give you a place to enter the Yin Yang Valley. Xia Huang lamented as he looked at Ling Xiao. Yin Yang Valley. May I know what this Yin Yang Valley is? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. Although he had heard from Ling Qingqing that the Yin Yang Valley contained Yin Yang spiritual qi, he was more curious about the origin of the Yin Yang Valley. The Yin Yang Valley is a treasure land in the Ba Huang secret region. It is controlled by the 4 great ancient countries and opens once every 10 years. It is a natural place of extreme yin and yang. It is said that it is the burial place of countless experts. Extreme yin gives birth to yang. Therefore, it will emit pure yin-yang spiritual qi. Not only can it cleanse the body, but it can also help one to break through. It is not impossible for experts of the Grandmaster realm with great talent to break through a few realms. Xia Huang said slowly. The burial place of experts, the place where extreme yin gives birth to yang. If that is true, my chances of breaking through the second level of the heaven-devouring secret skill will be greatly increased. Ling Xiao was also a little excited. Although he had obtained the Sun Divine Stone and the Sun Divine Essence, he had to cultivate in a place of extreme yin and yang to have a greater chance of breaking through. After all, the cultivation of the heaven-devouring secret skill was too difficult. Even Ling Xiao did not dare to be careless. Once he broke through to the second level of the heaven-devouring secret skill, he would be able to condense the heaven-devouring golden lotus. At that time, the golden lotus would give birth to all living things. Ling Xiao would be able to devour all living things to nourish his body and help him break through faster. The wonders of the heaven-devouring golden lotus were far beyond the heaven-devouring spiritual seed. More importantly, after condensing the sky-devouring golden lotus, Ling Xiao would be able to cultivate the second and third styles of the seven limits divine technique of devouring heaven and destroying earth. At that time, his battle prowess would definitely undergo a tremendous change. With that, Ling Xiao would be more confident in facing the upcoming life and death battle. The Yin-Yang Valley emits Yin-Yang spiritual qi every 10 years. It is only enough for 36 people to cultivate. Therefore, the Great Barren Ancient Country only has 9 people. Ling Xiao, your combat strength is strong. When the time comes, you have to take care of them. The Great Barren Ancient Country always plays tricks in the dark. I am afraid that they will target us this time. Xia Huang looked at Ling Xiao and said seriously. Don't worry. With me around, the people of the Great Barren Ancient Country will be fine. Ling Xiao said faintly. Ling Xiao. You and Hongxiu, Xia Huang muttered to himself for a moment. He looked at Ling Xiao and hesitated. Your Majesty, Princess Hongxiu and I should make our own decisions about our marriage. Let's forget about the previous engagement. However, don't worry. I will protect her in the Yin-Yang Valley. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He could see Xia Huang's intention. All right then. Xia Huang smiled bitterly and shook his head. After exchanging a few more pleasantries, Ling Xiao bid farewell and left. He would be heading to the Yin-Yang Valley the next day, so he had to go back and make some preparations. Xia Huang looked at Ling Xiao's departing figure with a contemplative look in his eyes. After leaving the Great Barren Hall, Ling Xiao was about to leave when he saw a soldier waiting outside. He said that Ling Juechen wanted to see him. Ling Xiao was slightly taken aback. Ling Juechen wanted to see him so soon. Could it be that there was an accident with the resurrection elixir? Thinking of this, Ling Xiao hurriedly followed the soldier. In the secret chamber of the Celestial Master Hall, when Ling Juechen saw Ling Xiao, he immediately pulled him over and said with a smile, Ling Xiao, come and take a look at this jade disc. A black jade disc appeared in Ling Juechen's hand. It was in the shape of a saber and looked simple and unadorned. However, it exuded a mysterious and sharp aura. This is... Ling Xiao's gaze immediately became somewhat strange. This was because this black jade disc was the black jade disc of the 7 destruction / that Chen Fengdao had racked his brains to obtain at the Great Barren Auction House. The only difference was that this jade disc was 1 size larger. Ling Xiao had guessed that Chen Fengdao had a black jade disc for a long time. He hadn't expected Ling Xiao's guess to be correct. Chapter 239. Great General Chen Weishan gave me this jade disc. There's a powerful spiritual seal on it and he wants me to help him break it. However, I discovered that the spiritual seal on the jade disc is a mysterious spiritual lock. I can't break it with my current spiritual power. Why don't you take a look and see if you can break it? Ling Juechen explained with a trace of anticipation in his eyes. In his eyes, Ling Xiao had a pure Yang Yuan spirit and was accepted as a disciple by the muddle-headed old man. Ling Xiao was already stronger than him in terms of alchemy. Ling Xiao's gaze was a little strange as he said, there might be a powerful Tian-grade martial art on this jade disc. Is Chen Weishan at ease leaving this jade disc here? In Ling Xiao's opinion, the jade disc might contain the Saber Emperor's 10 annihilation / from 10,000 years ago. It was a superior grade martial art that could kill supremes when cultivated to its peak. Even if Chen Weishan didn't know how precious the martial art was, how could he be so careless? If he doesn't leave it here, who else can he find? If I can't break the seal in the entire Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom, no one else can. He probably doesn't have a way, but he did say that he'll come back in a few hours. If I can't break the seal, then he'll think of another way. Ling Juechen smiled faintly. Let me take a look. Ling Zhao's lips twitched as a smile appeared on his face. He was still worrying about how to get his hands on this saber art. He didn't expect Chen Weishan to deliver it to him. The Saber Emperor from 10,000 years ago also possessed the heavenly saber bloodline. However, he died too early and didn't break through to the Supremes. Otherwise, the 10 Annihilation / wouldn't be a superior grade martial art, but a Supreme's martial art. Ling Xiao planned to comprehend the 10 Annihilation / himself, and it was very suitable for Ling Feng to cultivate. Ling Xiao held the black jade disc and sent a trace of his spiritual power into it. Boom! The jade disc was filled with chaos. An incomparably huge black saber light swept across the world, exuding a peerless sharpness that could destroy everything. The black saber light was actually formed from pure spiritual power. It contained a powerful saber intent that made one's scalp tingle. The saber light sealed the jade disc. If one wanted to see what was inside, they had to break the saber light seal first. This saber intent is indeed very powerful. The heavenly blade bloodline is indeed born for blades. I hope this 10 slashes annihilation won't disappoint me. Ling Zhao's eyes lit up as his powerful mental strength enveloped the jade disc. When Ling Juechen saw that Ling Xiao was studying the jade disc, he didn't pay it any mind. He turned around and continued to stare at the soul-returning pill in the purple cloud cauldron with Reverend Chun Yang. The seal that Chen Weishan and Ling Juechen were helpless against was nothing in front of Ling Xiao. No matter how strong the saber light seal was, it was just a mark left behind by the saber sovereign. Ling Xiao executed the heaven-devouring secret technique. Strands of mental energy turned into resplendent lights and swallowed the saber light. Rumble. Ling Zhao's mental strength was extremely pure. The sky-swallowing secret skill was pushed to the extreme. It was as if a black hole storm was formed, refining the saber light in the jade disc bit by bit. An hour later, when the huge saber light was completely refined by Ling Xiao, the primal chaos space in the jade disc suddenly opened. Rumble. It was as if heaven and earth were being split apart. The primal chaos mist surged and a stream of light surged. It turned into mysterious words and flew rapidly towards Ling Xiao. The galaxy was resplendent and the stars rotated. A domineering and majestic figure appeared in the middle of the galaxy. He exuded a pure and majestic saber intent. Crack! Lightning flashed and starlight flashed. A terrifying saber light appeared in the sky. It was as vast and mighty as the Milky Way, spanning tens of millions of miles. When the saber light landed, countless stars shattered. The world seemed to return to chaos. Everything ceased to exist. My name is the Saber Sovereign. I started practicing the saber at the age of 8. At the age of 12, I achieved initial mastery of the Saber Dao. I killed 36 bandits in the Black Wind Mountain. At the age of 16, I achieved phenomenal mastery of the Saber Dao. At the Dragon Tiger Realm, I killed 7 experts of the Grandmaster Realm. At the age of 30, I became one with the world and comprehended the mysteries of the Saber Dao. I sat cross-legged in the thunder-rolling mountain for 7 days and 7 nights. I comprehended the 5 slashes of annihilation. When the saber strikes, it shocks the heavens and thunder rumbles. At the age of 50, I became a noble and comprehended the 7 slashes of annihilation. I challenged all the heroes in the world and defeated 72 geniuses in a row. My sword heart is clear and I am not limited by anything. At the age of 60, I became an emperor and comprehended the 10 slashes of annihilation. I cut the heavens, the earth, and the reincarnation cycle. When the saber strikes, there is no turning back. I became the #1 person of the ecliptic path and killed Black Eye's supremacy in the Milky Way. At the age of 80, I became a 9th-layer emperor. I encountered demons from outer space. With the 10 slashes of annihilation, I killed hundreds of heavenly demon generals and exhausted the king of generals. I left the 10 slashes of annihilation for the fated one. I hope you won't disgrace my name, the domineering and heavy voice echoed in the unknown void. In the end, the saber light that filled the sky and the mysterious technique merged into Ling Xiao's mind like a stream of light. It's the true meaning of the 10 slashes of annihilation. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with shock. Generally speaking, only supreme-level martial arts contain the power of the laws of heaven and earth. They required the inheritance of the true meaning to carry them. Take the longevity supreme scripture for example. Without the inheritance of the true meaning, even if one obtained the complete scripture, it would be very difficult to cultivate it to perfection. On the other hand, it was extremely rare for a heaven-level martial arts to have the true meaning of the inheritance. Most of them were left behind by heaven-defying peerless powerhouses. For example, the Saber Emperor left behind the Saber Dao true meaning of his life before he died. Ling Xiao did not expect it to be passed down to him. Ling Xiao understood after thinking about it. The spiritual seal on the black jade disc was actually a test. If one wanted to break the Saber Light seal, one would need to be extremely talented in the Saber Dao. The Saber Emperor probably did not expect there to be such a freak like Ling Xiao who could forcefully break the spiritual seal with the sky-devouring secret technique. Therefore, the true meaning of the 10 slashes of annihilation fell directly on Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao was speechless. Although the 10 slashes of annihilation was a heaven-level upper martial art, he did not take it seriously. If Leng Feng could obtain the true meaning of the inheritance, he would definitely be able to create a peerless powerhouse in a short period of time. However, since he had already received the true meaning of the inheritance, there was no way he could pass it on to Leng Feng. Fortunately, Leng Feng could also cultivate the 10 slashes of annihilation. Chen Weishan and his son have lost everything this time. If they knew that I had obtained the 10 slashes of annihilation, their expressions would be very interesting, right? Ling Xiao's lips curled into a smile. After Ling Xiao obtained the true meaning of the 10 slashes of annihilation, the black jade disc in his hand became empty and ordinary. Ling Xiao thought for a while and the corners of his mouth curled into a smile. Immediately, he used his mental strength to engrave the first 8 moves of the 10 slashes of annihilation into the jade disc. Chapter 240. Uncle, I've already broken the seal on the jade disc. There's indeed a heaven-tier martial art inside, called the 8 annihilation slashes. It's quite powerful. Ling Xiao opened his eyes and handed the black jade disc to Ling Juechen with a smile. It's actually a heaven-tier martial art. This Chen Weishan really has a great fortune. Ling Xiao, why don't you make a copy of this martial art first? Zhu Chen was a little surprised. He thought about it for a moment. There's no need. Uncle, low-grade heaven-rank martial techniques are nothing to me. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. That's true. The muddle-headed old man must have left you many powerful martial arts. However, Chen Weishan said that if I can break the seal, I can make a copy of the martial art inside as a reward. This 8 annihilation slashes seems pretty good. I've really struck it rich. Ling Juechen laughed heartily. Although he himself had cultivated a powerful heaven-tier martial art, no one would complain about having too many of such martial arts. Ling Xiao laughed inwardly. He was probably the one who had struck it the most. Chen Weishan and his son were really unlucky. They had actually delivered the jade disc to Ling Xiao, making him the biggest winner in the end. After bidding farewell to Ling Juechen and Pure Sun's spiritual master, Ling Xiao left the imperial city and returned to the Demon King's estate. In the manner, Leng Feng was cultivating in seclusion after obtaining the slaughter pill. Ling Xiao could feel the saber intent growing stronger and stronger, as well as the sharpness hidden in his bloodline. He believed that when Ling Feng came out of seclusion, he would definitely give him a big surprise. Ling Xiao called Li Ling, Grandmaster Jiao Mu, Lu Xiongfei, Meng Ao, and the others over. He told them that he was about to go to the Yin-Yang Valley and told them to avoid going out as much as possible. There were less than 20 days until the life and death battle with the Myriad Beasts sect. Although Ling Juechen and Pure Sun's spiritual master were intimidating them, and the Moon Goddess was also in the Imperial City, so the Myriad Beasts sect didn't dare to be too presumptuous, Ling Xiao was still afraid that they would act out of desperation. Moreover, there was still the group of assassins from the underworld. He didn't know when they would come to assassinate him again. The next morning, Ling Xiao left the Demon King's estate and arrived at a plaza in the Imperial City. On the square, there was a huge black eagle. It was more than 10 meters tall, and its black wings were like swords, emitting a metallic luster. The eagle's beak flashed with cold light, and its two huge eagle claws were very sharp. Its eyes were very cold. Especially its pair of wings, which were over 30 meters long when fully extended. They covered the heavens and the earth and stirred up violent gales. This black eagle was actually a rank 6 demonic beast. Its entire body was emitting a powerful aura. Ling Xiao guessed that this black eagle should be their mount for this trip to the Yin-Yang Valley. On the square, Ling Xiao also saw the other 8 people who were going to Yin-Yang Valley. He recognized Xia Hongxiu, Chen Fengdao, Ling Qingqing and Li Qingfeng. There were 4 other young men and women he did not know. Ling Xiao, over here. Li Qingfeng's eyes were the sharpest, and he immediately saw Ling Xiao. His eyes revealed a hint of surprise as he shouted. Ling Xiao's lips curled into a smile as he walked towards Li Qingfeng. Before coming, Li Ling had already told Ling Xiao that Li Qingfeng would also be going to Yin-Yang Valley this time and asked Ling Xiao to take care of him. Brother Ling Xiao, I didn't expect you to make a name for yourself in the capital after I went into seclusion for a few days. You defeated Ling Tianxi with your fist and suppressed Shi Tianluo. You're really amazing. Li Qingfeng's face was full of excitement as he pulled Ling Xiao and talked non-stop. You're not bad yourself. You've broken through to the Grandmaster realm. I'm afraid the 5th young master of the capital will soon become the 6th young master of the capital, right? Ling Xiao smiled slightly, and a glimmer of light appeared in his eyes. Li Qingfeng had broken through to the Grandmaster realm from the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm during his seclusion this time. He was already on par with the 5th young master of the capital. 6th young master of the capital. He's still far from that. An ear-piercing sneer rang out at an inappropriate time. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he realized that the person who spoke was Chen Fengdao. At this moment, his face was full of cold laughter as he looked at Ling Xiao and Li Qingfeng. Moreover, Ling Xiao felt a familiar aura from Chen Fengdao's body. You've already started cultivating the 8 annihilation slashes? Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat, and a smile appeared on his face. Chen Fengdao, you don't have to worry about how I, Li Qingfeng, am doing. Li Qingfeng looked at Chen Fengdao with an unpleasant expression. They hadn't seen each other for a few days, and Chen Fengdao had already broken through to the 3rd level of the Grandmaster realm. Moreover, he had cultivated the 8 annihilation slashes. No wonder he dared to speak in such a manner. Brother Ling Xiao, you have to protect me when we go to the Yin-Yang Valley this time. Those people from the Great Huang ancient country are not good people. Ling Qingqing also walked to Ling Xiao's side. Her fragrance filled the air as she smiled flirtatiously. Sister Qingqing, don't worry. With me around, you'll definitely be fine. Ling Xiao smiled gently. Seeing Ling Qingqing standing beside Ling Xiao, Chen Fengdao's expression became extremely unpleasant. His gaze towards Ling Xiao revealed a hint of murderous intent. Ling Xiao noticed Chen Fengdao's murderous intent, but he didn't care. If he didn't plan to let Ling Feng deal with this clown personally, Ling Xiao would have slapped him to death. On the other hand, Xia Hongxiu looked at Ling Xiao in a daze, and there was a hint of complexity in her eyes. Li Qingfeng chattered incessantly in Ling Zhao's ears, and he seemed to be very excited. Especially when he heard about Ling Zhao's magnificent performance at the Ling family's year-end celebration, he felt extremely frustrated. He felt that he had missed out on an exciting event. However, from Li Qingfeng's words, Ling Zhao also understood the identities of the other 4 young men and women. Originally, the first prince and the 9th prince each had a quota. However, for some reason, the 2 of them gave excuses and didn't intend to go to the Yin-Yang Valley. Instead, they each sent a subordinate to participate. The 2 of them looked to be in their 20s. They wore black robes and kept a low profile. Their cultivation had reached level 3 of the Grandmaster realm. There were also 2 people, 1 male and 1 female. The male looked to be in his 20s and looked very shy. His name was Lu Feng, and he was at level 2 of the Grandmaster realm. He was also one of the 5 princes of the royal capital. The female was Lu Feng's younger sister, Lu Yun, and she was at level 9 of the Dragon Tiger realm. She was also a famous genius in the royal capital. This time, she was prepared to use the Yin-Yang baleful qi in the Yin-Yang Valley to break through. Together with Ling Zhao, there were 9 people from the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom who were going to the Yin-Yang Valley. Not long after, a middle-aged man wearing black armor and carrying a saber on his back walked over. His aura was very strong and filled the air with baleful qi. His gaze swept across Ling Zhao and the other 9 people like lightning, causing everyone to feel a chill run down their spines. Ling Zhao glanced at the middle-aged man in front of him and discovered that he was actually a level 4 Sky Human Realm expert. Moreover, his hands were stained with blood. Such a person was like Meng Ao, a peerless general. My name is Xia Long. This time, I'm going to bring you to the Yin-Yang Valley. Xia Long said concisely. Then, he waved at the Black Eagle, and the Black Eagle obediently knelt down. Xia Long stepped into the void and stood on the Black Eagle's head. He then looked at Ling Zhao and the others and said calmly, "Come on up. If you miss the time, the Yin-Yang Valley will be closed." Ling Zhao and the others were slightly stunned. They quickly leaped up and jumped onto the Black Eagle's wings. Chirp. Chapter 241. The 8 Desolation Secret Territory was located at the border of the Great Barren Ancient Country. It was thousands of miles away from the capital city. The Black Eagle was a rank 6 demonic beast. It was extremely fast, like a black lightning, flying through the clouds towards the direction of the 8 Desolation Secret Territory. The wind was strong and the sky was wide. If it wasn't for Xia Long's Gang Qi barrier protecting Ling Zhao and the rest, they would have been blown off by the strong wind. Qingfeng and the rest stood on the back of the Black Eagle, looking down at the vast mountains and rivers, huge cities and mountain ranges. They could not help but feel a sense of pride in their hearts. At the same time, they also yearned to be a celestial realm expert who could fly and break free from the shackles of heaven and earth. How free and easy would that be? Ling Zhao, there shouldn't be any danger in this trip to the Yin-Yang Valley, but you still have to be careful of the people from the Great Huang Ancient Country. Ling Qingqing stood beside Ling Zhao and said softly. The Great Huang Ancient Country? A glint flashed across Ling Zhao's eyes as he nodded. The Great Huang Ancient Country was backed by the Wanshou sect, and its national strength was much stronger than the Great Barren Ancient Country. It was also the country that had the most tense relationship with the Great Barren Ancient Country. Ling Zhao had already offended the Wanshou sect, and it was hard to guarantee that they wouldn't use the Great Huang Ancient Country to do something. Sister Qingqing, don't worry. If the Great Huang Ancient Country dares to do anything, I will let them taste my methods. Ling Zhao smiled faintly, his eyes deep and calm. Although there were 9 people going to the Yin-Yang Valley this time, there were obviously many small groups. Ling Zhao, Ling Qingqing and Qingfeng were together, while Lu Feng and Lu Yun were with Xia Hongxiu. Lu Feng and Lu Yun were with Xia Hongxiu because their father, Lu Yuan, was the current prime minister, and had been Xia Hongxiu's teacher before. Lu Feng and Lu Yun had a good relationship with Xia Hongxiu. Chen Fengdao was with the person sent by the ninth prince, and they were whispering something to each other. There was a hint of murderous intent in his eyes when he looked at Ling Xiao. Only the first prince's subordinate, an ordinary-looking young man, sat cross-legged on the black eagle and began to cultivate as if there was no one else around him. His whole body exuded an aura of arrogance. Royal City, Wanshou Sex Hostel. Has Ling Xiao already gone to the Yin-Yang Valley? Very good. Inform the myriad beasts sect and the underworld that we can act now. He Qing's eyes glinted coldly as he spoke slowly. Yes. A Wanshou sect disciple dressed in a black robe bowed respectfully, then quietly left the room. Ling Xiao, if you can survive, you might be qualified to participate in the battle of life and death. But if you die, you can't blame anyone else. He Qing said indifferently. The murderous intent in his eyes was chilling. Imperial City, Imperial City. The soul returning pill has finally succeeded. Zhu Chen and Master Pure's son stared at the 9 dazzling treasured pills with excitement in their eyes. The 9 pellets floated in the air and trembled slightly. There seemed to be a mysterious luster flowing around them, containing a strong spiritual light. Hurry up and report to the king. We have to break through to the noble plane as soon as possible. Ling Zhu Chen and Master Pure Yang looked at each other, then took the 9 soul return pills and headed towards the great desolate hall. The 9th prince's residence. Mr. Mo, I've received news that father will enter seclusion in the next few days. How can it be so easy to break through to the noble plane? Especially since the emperor has been tainted by the dragon vein, it's even more dangerous. This is our chance. The 9th prince, Xia Yunran, exuded a powerful aura that was faintly ghostly. An excited smile appeared on his face. Your Highness is right. Chen Weishan has already secretly sided with us. Meng Ao is also heavily injured and is recuperating in the Demon King's residence. Now that the royal guards are leaderless, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. As long as we take down the Imperial City, our mission will be accomplished. The pale Mr. Mo smiled. His eyes were very cold, as if there was a ghostly fire dancing in them, making people shudder. Xia Yunran suppressed the excitement in his heart and nodded. That's right. Mr. Mo, order Chen Weishan to mobilize the army. Listen to my orders and be ready to act at any time. Yes. Mr. Mo bowed and replied. But what Xia Yunran did not notice was that Mr. Mo's eyes were cold and ghostly. North of the Imperial City, in a dilapidated house. A figure wrapped in a black robe had a cold murderous look in his eyes. Ling Xiao has already left the Imperial City. Naturally, there will be people to deal with him. Our target is the Demon King's residence. Jiao Mu, Lu Xiongfei, Meng Ao. Leave none alive. Yes. The group of black-robed men below responded loudly. Then, like ghosts, they flashed out of the house in an instant. This 8 desolation region. It's time for a change. The black-robed man said slowly. A cruel and bloodthirsty look appeared in his eyes as he slowly disappeared from where he was. After Ling Xiao's departure, the undercurrent in the royal capital instantly became turbulent. But Ling Xiao did not know any of this. The Black Eagle flew over the vast wilderness, over the endless rivers and lakes, over the giant cities. After a day and a night, it flew towards a barren mountain range. The world seemed to have darkened. Above the void, dark clouds rolled angrily. Thunder filled the air and rumbled. Below was a barren mountain range. It stretched for thousands of miles and was actually all black mountain rocks. There was not a single trace of green. It was as if it had been burned by a fire. It was dilapidated and barren. Faintly, it emitted a murderous aura that made one's heart tremble. This is the 8 Desolation Mountain. It used to be the center of the 8 Desolation region. It was also the capital of the most powerful great heavenly ancient kingdom. However, after thousands of years, the great heavenly ancient kingdom disappeared. This region also became the most tragic place of that great calamity. Look at the black mountain range below. It was soaked in blood. After countless years, it became what it is today. Xia Long said slowly. His voice had a trace of vicissitudes and sorrow. A mountain range soaked in blood? This Eight Desolation Mountain seems to stretch for thousands of miles. How many people died back then to become what it is today? Hearing Xia Long's words, everyone could not help but change their expressions. Their eyes revealed a trace of shock. It has been too long. However, it is said that during that great calamity, less than 1 out of 10 lives in the Eight Desolation region survived. Xia Long said. Less than 1 out of 10 lives. Even Ling Zhao's expression changed. The entire Eight Desolation region had a population of hundreds of millions. In the end, less than 1 out of 10 lives were left. How many lives had died? What kind of great calamity could be so terrifying? Everyone was a little sad. Looking at the barren Eight Desolation Mountain below, their expressions were solemn and their hearts were heavy. Boom. Chapter 242. Oh no. Xia Long's expression changed. Even the black eagle's eyes showed a trace of fear as it flapped its huge wings and dodged. Ling Zhao and the rest swayed violently, almost falling off the black eagle. Boom. The black lightning was dazzling and contained a terrifying murderous aura. It instantly smashed a small mountain below into pieces. Heaven and earth trembled, sand and rocks flew, and the earth rumbled. The momentum was extremely shocking. The lightning dissipated, revealing a huge white tiger surrounded by blazing lightning. It had a pair of wings on its back and 4 powerful limbs. Its fur was pure white, and its blood qi was extremely strong. Its eyes seemed to be burning with flames, and its body emitted a terrifying murderous aura. One look at it would make one tremble. Ha ha ha. Xia Long, I didn't expect you to be so useless after not seeing you for so many years. You've only broken through 4 levels in 10 years. What a piece of trash. A wild and unrestrained laughter came from the tiger's back. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He saw a strong man standing on the tiger's back like an iron tower. His blood qi was surging, and his eyes showed a trace of disdain. Behind him stood 9 young men and women with impressive appearances. Each of them had a very arrogant look in their eyes. Guanhu, it's you. Xia Long's eyes flashed, and his face instantly became extremely ugly. At the same time, he was also shocked. The strong man opposite him, Guanhu, was already at the 6th level of the Sky Human Realm. 10 years ago, they were both at the 1st level of the Sky Human Realm, but he didn't expect the gap between them to widen in just 10 years. Bastard! Qingfeng and the others showed a trace of anger in their eyes. These people were too arrogant and too shameless. They actually charged over. If the Black Eagle hadn't dodged quickly, it would have suffered a great loss. Heavenly Winged Thunder Tiger. It's someone from the Great Huang ancient country. Ling Qing's eyes flashed, revealing a trace of seriousness. The Heavenly Winged Thunder Tiger was the national beast of the Great Huang ancient country. It was said that it had reached the peak of the 6th level long ago. It was only a hair away from passing the lightning tribulation and becoming a 7th level demon king. Its intelligence was no different from an ordinary person. Although the Black Eagle was also very handsome, compared to the Heavenly Winged Thunder Tiger, there was still a big gap. In addition, the power of lightning was the nemesis of all living beings. Therefore, when the Black Eagle saw the Heavenly Winged Thunder Tiger, a human-like fear appeared in its eyes. And on top of the Heavenly Winged Thunder Tiger, the 9 young men and women had extraordinary auras. They were all at the Grandmaster realm. From this, it could be seen that the Grand Huang Ancient Kingdom was indeed stronger than the Grand Desolation Ancient Kingdom. Xia Long, when we parted 10 years ago, you were already defeated by me. Who would have thought that after 10 years, you would still be so useless? It's not just you, even the younger generation of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom is becoming more and more pathetic. Even a 4th layer Dragon Tiger stage youngster is qualified to enter the Yin Yang Valley. Guan Hu sneered. His cold gaze swept across the 9 people behind Xia Long. When he saw Ling Xiao, the disdain in the corners of his mouth became even thicker. Ling Xiao was slightly taken aback. Was he being looked down upon? Li Qingfeng and the rest, who were originally furious, had strange expressions on their faces. Ling Xiao was a ruthless person who defeated Shi Tianluo when he was only at the 1st layer of the Dragon Tiger stage. How dare the Grand Huang Ancient Kingdom look down on him? Xia Long's gaze was also a little strange. Then, he sneered and said, Guan Hu, do you dare to make a bet with me? I bet that no one from your Grand Huang Ancient Kingdom is a match for him. As soon as Xia Long finished speaking, the gazes of the 9 young men and women behind Guan Hu all landed on Ling Xiao. The corners of their mouths curled up into a sneer of disdain. Xia Long, you're really shameless. A mere 4th layer Dragon Tiger stage dares to speak so arrogantly. What's the harm in making a bet with you? If you win, this dragon saliva grass is yours. If you lose, you have to give me your coiling dragon pendant. Do you dare? Guan Hu rolled his eyes and a light flashed in his hand. A greenish-gold blade of grass appeared, emitting a mysterious glow. You want my coiling dragon pendant? But I'm afraid you've got the wrong idea. Today, this dragon saliva grass is mine. Xia Long's gaze revealed a trace of anger as he sneered. The coiling dragon pendant was the only peerless treasure he had. Moreover, it was an ancient treasure that could absorb the energy of the dragon vein, allowing one to be reborn and strengthen one's vital energy and blood. Guan Hu was a body refinement expert and he had been drooling over the coiling dragon pendant for a long time. Ling Xiao was speechless. This was simply an unexpected disaster. His cultivation was low, but he still got into trouble. Moreover, Xia Long had set the bet without his consent, which made him a little unhappy. However, in comparison, those arrogant fellows from the Grand Huang Ancient Kingdom made Ling Xiao even more unhappy. What's the bet? Ha ha ha. How can I miss out on such an interesting thing? At this moment, another aged voice rang out in the void. Whoosh! A huge black sword flew over from afar, exuding a monstrous demonic chi, majestically flying through the air. On the huge sword stood an old man in a black robe with a smile on his face. Behind him were 9 young men and women with extraordinary bearings. The people from the Great Hong Ancient Kingdom had arrived. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. Behind the Great Hong Ancient Kingdom stood the Terminator demon sect. The country was mainly made up of demonic cultivators. Therefore, even the old man leading the group was a demonic cultivator at the 5th level of the sky human realm. Yang Huai, it's you. Xia Long and Guan Hu's eyes flashed as they revealed the old man's identity. More importantly, Ling Xiao saw a trace of fear in Xia Long and Guan Hu's eyes. It seemed like this Yang Huai was not simple. The two of you, long time no see. I heard that you want to bet something. How about I join in? Yang Huai glanced at Xia Long and Guan Hu with interest. However, before Xia Long and Guan Hu could speak, a clear and charming voice sounded in the void. Brothers, the 8 Desolation secret region is about to open. You still have the mood to bet here? If you delay the opening of the Yin Yang Valley, let's see what you'll do. In the distant void, a green void treasure ship flew over. It emitted a bright light and a faint fragrance wafted over. On the void treasure ship stood a beautiful woman in palace attire. She was tall and had exquisite curves. Her entire body emitted a charming and seductive aura. She looked very beautiful. Although she was only in her 30s, she had a mature charm. She was like a ripe peach that had a different kind of temptation. Behind her, there were 9 young men and women. Each of them had a powerful aura and their faces carried the arrogance of a genius. Needless to say, Ling Xiao knew that they had arrived at the Great Hong Ancient Kingdom. Chapter 243. So it's Sister Ji Ro. Ha ha ha, after so many years, Sister Ji Ro is still so beautiful. Guan Hu's eyes lit up when he saw the beautiful woman on the Void Treasure ship. He revealed a passionate expression as he laughed. Ji Ro glanced at Guan Hu indifferently and ignored him. Instead, she smiled at Xia Long and said, "Brother Xia, long time no see. How are you?" Xia Long looked at Ji Ro with a complicated expression. He slowly replied, "Thank you for your concern, Sister Ji Ro. I'm doing well." Yang Huai looked at Ji Ro and then looked at Xia Long with a smile on his face. Guan Hu's face instantly turned gloomy. Ji Ro ignored him and treated Xia Long warmly. This made him feel as if he had suffered a great humiliation. His eyes revealed a trace of coldness. Ling Xiao did not pay attention to the subtle relationship between the four Sky Human Realm experts. His gaze fell on the geniuses of the four ancient countries. These people could be said to be the competitors of the Great Desolation Ancient Country. Although the Yin-Yang Valley was very safe and everyone was refining the Yin-Yang baleful qi, there should not be any conflicts. However, there was no guarantee that there would be a fight. Moreover, from the current lineup, the Great Desolation Ancient Country seemed to be the weakest party. The 9 young men and women of the Great Desolation Ancient Country were all experts of the Grandmaster realm. The young man who was surrounded by everyone was wearing a black dragon robe. He had an extraordinary bearing and looked very handsome. He gave off a faint sense of danger. His cultivation had reached the 6th level of the Grandmaster realm. As for the 9 people from the Great Flood Ancient Country, they were all at the Grandmaster realm. The one leading them was a very tall and sturdy man. His black hair was draped over his shoulders and his gaze was like lightning. His entire body was emitting a powerful demonic aura that was wild and unrestrained. It was very invasive. His cultivation had also reached the 5th level of the Grandmaster realm. The Great Desolation Ancient Country was the one that Ling Xiao paid the most attention to. Among the 9 geniuses, there were 6 women. Each of them was very pretty and emitted an extraordinary temperament. The 3 men also had extraordinary temperaments and were very elegant. However, what surprised Ling Xiao was that the leader of the Grand Mysterious Ancient Kingdoms group was a girl around 16 or 17 years old. Her eyes were very bright, and her skin was as translucent as jade. She wore a thin veil on her face, and her temperament was transcendent. Standing in the crowd, she had a mysterious temperament as if she was a fairy descending to the mortal world. Her cultivation was only at the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm, but it seemed that the people of the Grand Mysterious Ancient Kingdom were very convinced by her. On the other hand, Ling Qingqing and Chen Fengdao, who had the highest cultivation, were only at LV3 of the Grandmaster realm. Ling Xiao, Xia Hongxiu, and Lu Yun were only at the Dragon Tiger realm. Therefore, it seemed that the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom was the weakest party. However, the people from the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom were also the most confident. After all, Ling Xiao's combat strength couldn't be measured by his cultivation base. Even Shi Tianluo had been defeated by Ling Xiao. Naturally, the people from the other 3 ancient kingdoms wouldn't pose any threat to Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, although we won't encounter any danger in the Yin-Yang Valley, you still have to pay attention to these 3 people. Li Qingfeng looked at the other 3 ancient countries with a solemn expression. Oh. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. I know that your combat strength is very strong. However, there are also a few fierce characters among the geniuses of the other 3 ancient kingdoms. That person is called Huang Yunji, the 7th prince of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom. He's also the most talented person among the younger generation of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom. He reached LV6 of the Grandmaster realm at the age of 20. Rumor has it that he has cultivated the 9-dragon sky-shattering technique of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom. He's not much weaker than Shi Tianluo. Li Qingfeng looked at the young man in the black dragon robe of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom and said slowly. Huang Yunji. Ling Xiao nodded. He could feel a faint dragon aura from Huang Yunji's body. His aura was very powerful, and his talent wasn't much weaker than Shi Tianluo's. That person is called Hong Sha, a peerless genius of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom. It's said that his talent isn't any weaker than Shi Tianluo's. He was bestowed the Nine Heavens demonic technique by the king of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom. Although he's only at LV5 of the Grandmaster realm, it's said that he once killed a LV9 expert. Li Qingfeng's gaze turned to the man from the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom. The most special one is this one from the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom, Ji Shuiyao. Li Qingfeng's gaze finally landed on the veiled girl, a strange glint in his eyes. Ji Shuiyao is the princess of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom. It's said that she's the younger sister of the current empress of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom. Her talent is extraordinary. Although she's only at LV9 of the Dragon Tiger realm, she's very strong. Even Grandmaster realm experts aren't her match. In terms of talent, she's the most demonic one among the 36 other than you. Li Qingfeng said slowly. Ji Shuiyao. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as Ji Feishuan's peerless face appeared in his mind. Perhaps, he could find out about Ji Feishuan's current situation from Ji Shuiyao. Rumble. After waiting for a while in the 8 Desolation Mountain, the crowd saw thunder roaring in the sky. Vast rays of light flashed, emitting a destructive aura. The entire 8 Desolation Mountain began to be covered by a mysterious fluctuation. Kacha. Bolts of lightning streaked across the void, faintly distorting the void. Facing the might of the heavens and earth, everyone's expression changed slightly. Ling Xiao, on the other hand, felt a mysterious spatial fluctuation from this mysterious thunderbolt. Is this the 8 Desolation secret region? Ling Xiao squinted his eyes slightly. Yang Huai of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom's eyes flashed. He took a deep breath and said, "It's time for the seal to be at its weakest. Everyone, take out the 8 Desolation token and follow me to open the 8 Desolation secret region." All right. No problem. Let's do it. Xia Long, Guan Hu, and Ji Ro's eyes flashed as they responded. Swoosh. 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 At this moment, an ancient token appeared in each of the 4 Sky Human Realm experts' hands. It didn't look like gold or jade, but at this moment, it floated up at the same time and emitted a bright light. Moreover, an ancient and mysterious aura was emitted. Xian. Huang. Hong. Desolation. On the 4 tokens, the 4 ancient words emitted a bright light. At this moment, they intertwined and turned into a mysterious light pillar, shooting towards the place where the lightning was the most concentrated. The expressions of Yang Huai, Xia Long, Guan Hu and Ji Ro, the 4 Sky Human stage experts, turned grim at that moment. At the same time, they unleashed their powerful cultivation bases to pour into the 4 tokens, causing the pillar of light to become even more resplendent. Kacha. The sky shook, and the lightning became even more intense. It vaguely formed a vast sea of lightning that began to surge in all directions. However, Ling Xiao's sharp senses told him that the 4 tokens were like 4 keys that pierced through the void and opened a mysterious door. Rumble. Light shone brightly in the void, as if there were ripples spreading out. A mysterious door suddenly opened. Chapter 244. Take Ling Xiao as your leader and quickly enter the 8 Desolation secret land. Remember, I have already told you the location of the Yin-Yang Valley. It will open in 3 days. This door can only be maintained for 10 days. After 10 days, you must all come out. Otherwise, you will have to stay in there for 10 years. Xia Long said slowly as he looked at Ling Xiao and the others. Yes. Ling Xiao and the others bowed in response. Their eyes were filled with excitement and anticipation. At this moment, the people from the Great Flood Ancient Country and the Great Mystery Ancient Country had already entered the door. The people from the Great Yellow Ancient Country, under Huang Yunji's lead, did not want to fall behind. However, Ling Xiao noticed that among the 9 people from the Great Yellow Ancient Country, there was a murderous intent. However, as they entered the 8 Desolation Secret Land, the murderous intent disappeared. Could it be the people from the Wanshou sect? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a cold light. However, he did not think too much about it. He, Qing Feng, Ling Qingqing, and the others also entered the 8 Desolation Secret Land. Ling Xiao could see that there was a powerful seal on the 8 Desolation Secret Land. The reason why it only opened once every 10 years was because the seal would weaken every 10 years. Only then could the 4 Sky Realm experts use the 8 Desolation token to forcefully open the 8 Desolation Secret Land. The various treasures and inheritances in the 8 Desolation Secret Land had been plundered clean by the Martial Saint lands in the past few thousand years. In the entire 8 Desolation Secret Land, only the Yin-Yang Valley had some value. It was shared by the 4 great ancient countries. Boom! Ling Xiao passed through the door. The light in front of him was dazzling. There seemed to be a mysterious energy surrounding his body. When the light dissipated, Ling Xiao saw that he had entered a foreign land. The sky here was gray and the land was vast. There were mountains in the distance, emitting a dilapidated and ancient aura. Everyone, the Yin-Yang Valley will open in 3 days. The 8 Desolation Secret Land is vast. There might be precious treasures and inheritances. Let's rely on our own abilities. We will leave first. See you in 3 days. Hong Sha's eyes flashed. He cupped his hands and smiled at the crowd. Then, he left with the 8 people from the Great Flood Ancient Country. Princess Shui Yao, the 8 Desolate Secret Realm is filled with dangers. Why don't you travel together with my Great Huang Ancient Country? I will definitely protect you. Huang Yunji glanced at Ji Shuiyao and smiled. There's no need for that. Thank you for your kindness, Your Highness. Ji Shuiyao glanced at Huang Yunji indifferently, then walked up to Ling Xiao with curiosity in her eyes. You're Ling Xiao. That's right, it's me. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Very good. If you follow me, I will protect you. Ji Shuiyao said indifferently, her voice cold and arrogant. Everyone was slightly taken aback. Ji Shuiyao actually said she wanted to protect Ling Xiao. However, this brat looked like he was only at the 4th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. It could be said that he was the weakest among those who had entered the Ba Huang mystery region. What did he do to deserve Ji Shuiyao's attention? Everyone knew that Ji Shuiyao's talent was peerless, but it was rumored that Ji Shuiyao's beauty could make the heavens and earth lose their color. Moreover, her character was extremely cold. She did not even like the genius disciples of the martial arts saint lands. Who was Ling Xiao? The smile on Huang Yunji's face instantly froze, and his eyes turned gloomy. He did not expect Ji Shuiyao to be so disrespectful. However, Ji Shuiyao actually allowed a young man at the 4th level of the Dragon Tiger realm to follow her. Was this not a slap to Huang Yunji's face? This. I'm afraid there's no need for that. Thank you for your kindness, Your Highness. There shouldn't be any danger in the Ba Huang mystery region. I can protect myself. Ling Xiao was taken aback, and a wry smile appeared on his face. He did not expect Ji Feishuan's sister to be so domineering. She immediately said she wanted to protect him and did not give him any room for negotiation. That's right. Princess Shuiyao, with Ling Xiao's cultivation and combat strength, there shouldn't be anyone who can threaten him in the Ba Huang mystery region. Please return. Ling Qingqing's eyes were filled with vigilance as she stepped forward to stand beside Ling Xiao. She did not know why, but when she heard Ji Shuiyao say she wanted to protect Ling Xiao, she felt extremely displeased. A mere 4th level of the Dragon Tiger realm dares to boast so shamelessly. Don't die in the Ba Huang mystery region and become a laughingstock. Huang Yunji's eyes were filled with disdain as he sneered. When they were outside the Ba Huang mystery region, Xia Long had said that Ling Xiao was only at the 4th level of the Dragon Tiger realm, but he had the combat strength of a grandmaster. He was already very displeased, and when he heard Ling Qingqing's words, he could not help but explode. Huang Yunji, watch your mouth. If Ling Xiao attacks, I don't think you'll be his match. Li Qingfeng's eyes were filled with anger as he said coldly. I'm not his match. Ha ha ha. Huang Yunji was stunned for a moment, and then he laughed out loud. The people from the Great Huang ancient country also laughed as if they had heard a joke. Ling Xiao was only at the 4th level of the Dragon Tiger realm, while Huang Yunji was the number 1 genius of the Great Huang ancient country. He was at the 6th level of the Grandmaster realm. Qingfeng actually said that Huang Yunji was not Ling Xiao's opponent. Even the pro-disciples of the martial Dao Holy Lands did not dare to say that they could defeat Huang Yunji with their cultivation of the Dragon Tiger realm. Who was Ling Xiao? Ling Xiao squinted his eyes and glanced at Huang Yunji as well as the 8 geniuses of Great Huang ancient country behind him. What? Kid, are you not convinced? Believe it or not, anyone from my Great Huang ancient country can defeat you with a single move. Ling Xiao's indifferent gaze made Huang Yunji feel extremely displeased as he laughed coldly. You can try. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Kid, do you really want to die? Huang Yunji's gaze turned cold. A kid at the 4th level of the Dragon Tiger realm dared to provoke him. Huang Yunji's heart was filled with anger, and a trace of killing intent emerged. Ji Shuiyao frowned slightly as she looked at Huang Yunji and said, 7th Prince, if you have time, why don't you go to the 8 Desolation secret territory to look for opportunities? Why do you want to compete with a kid at the Dragon Tiger realm? Huang Yunji's eyes flashed as he smiled faintly and said, Princess Shuiyao is right. I won't lower myself to their level today. Kid, next time, open your eyes. There are some people you can't afford to offend. I'll give Princess Shuiyao some face today, but next time, it won't be so easy. Let's go. Huang Yunji looked coldly at Ling Xiao, then turned around and left with the people of the Great Huang ancient country. Ling Xiao, if you encounter any danger, you can come and find me. The Great Huang ancient country is still too weak. Chapter 245. Bastard. Li Qingfeng's expression was ugly as he said hatefully, Ling Xiao, why don't you teach Huang Yunji a lesson? He's too arrogant, how dare he look down on you? Even Shi Skyfall was defeated by you, what is Huang Yunji to you? That's right. Ling Xiao, in my opinion, you should teach him a lesson. Ling Qingqing said as if she wanted to see the world plunged into chaos. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, the people of Great Huang ancient country are nothing to be afraid of. Most importantly, this is our first time in the 8 Desolation secret region. We have to figure out if there are any hidden dangers. That's the most important thing. For some reason, after Ling Xiao entered the 8 Desolation secret region, he felt as if he was being watched by something. He felt very uncomfortable all over. Moreover, among the 9 people of Great Huang ancient country, there was a faint sense of danger. That was why Ling Xiao did not attack as he did not want to expose his strength. Ling Xiao's most urgent matter now was to figure out the situation in the 8 Desolation secret region. He wanted to find out what was making him feel uneasy. As for Huang Yunji's provocation, it was nothing to Ling Xiao. Chen Fengdao, what are you doing? Li Qingfeng's eyes flashed as he saw Chen Fengdao and the 9th prince's subordinate, Tang Xian, leaving. What am I doing? Hee, of course, I don't want to be with you. I have my own matters to attend to and have no time to play with you. See you in Yinyang Valley 3 days later. Chen Fengdao sneered and left with Tang Xian without looking back. After the two of them left, the 1st prince's subordinate, the very cold and low-profile young man, Chen Gang, also turned and left. In the blink of an eye, only Ling Xiao, Ling Qingqing, Li Qingfeng, Xia Hongxiu, Lu Feng, and Lu Yun were left. Bastard! Li Qingfeng grumbled, his face full of annoyance. It's okay. Those 3 guys are also unstable factors. It's good that they're gone. Princess, are you coming with us or going alone? Ling Qingqing smiled faintly, then looked at Xia Hongxiu, then glanced at Ling Xiao. Sister Qingqing, I'll go with you. Xia Hongxiu said with a smile. We siblings will also follow you. Lu Feng and Lu Yun hurriedly expressed their stance as well. Alright, since that's the case, I'll bring everyone to a place. Ling Qingqing said slowly. Where is this place? Could it be some kind of treasure? Li Qingfeng's eyes lit up as he ran over to ask. How can there be so many treasures? Even if there were, the Holy Lands would have taken them all. Ling Qingqing rolled her eyes and said, but the place I'm talking about is very beneficial to our cultivation. Your Highness also knows this place. Ling Qingqing glanced at Xia Hongxiu. Xia Hongxiu nodded and said, this news was also told to me by a senior sister in the sect. In the Ba Huang Mystery Land, there is a hidden spiritual spring that contains extremely pure spiritual qi. Although it is not as good as the yin-yang spiritual qi, it is still extraordinary and can help us to break through our cultivation levels quickly. Spirit Spring. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He did not expect there to be such a treasure in the Ba Huang Mystery Land. Spirit springs were usually spiritual items that were nurtured by extremely dense spiritual veins. It was extremely precious and only the holy lands of the martial Tao had such treasures. That hidden spirit spring was left behind by the great celestial ancient kingdom. Although it is damaged, it is definitely enough for the 6 of us. As long as we can find that spirit spring, each of us can break through 1 or 2 cultivation levels. However, that place is filled with traps and arrays, so we must be careful. Ling Qingqing warned. If that's the case, then let's go quickly. Don't let anyone else find us. Li Qingfeng hurriedly urged. Ling Xiao, what do you think? Ling Qingqing looked at Ling Xiao and asked with a smile. Xia Hongxiu, Li Qingfeng and the rest also looked at Ling Xiao, waiting for him to make a decision. Ling Zhao's combat strength was the strongest, so he was unconsciously treated as the leader. Since everyone wants to find the spirit spring, I have no objections. Let's go. Ling Xiao said with a smile. After making the decision, Ling Xiao, Ling Qingqing and the rest crossed the vast plains and headed towards the endless mountain range in the distance. According to Ling Qingqing and Xia Hongxiu's clues, the spirit spring was located in an ancient palace in the mountain range. In the 8 Desolation secret region, other than the vast plains, there were vast and ancient mountains. Corpses and broken weapons could be seen everywhere along the way. The earth was crisscrossed with ravines, and some mountains were split apart. All of these showed that a fierce battle had once taken place here. Within the mountain range, towering ancient trees stood in great numbers, giving off a desolate aura. Although most of the traces of the great battle were covered up, the broken mountains, shattered earth, and lakes that gave off terrifying sword chi made Ling Xiao and the others sigh in amazement. The calamity 10,000 years ago had shattered the universe of the 8 Desolation region. The mountains and rivers had reversed, leaving behind a desolate battlefield that had been sealed forever. The fog of time had covered everything, making it impossible to find out the cause of the calamity 10,000 years ago. However, Ling Xiao wanted to find out what had happened in the 8 Desolation region 10,000 years ago. Only then would he be able to find clues about Jin Sei and the rest. Ling Xiao had always believed that Jin Sei was still alive, waiting for his return somewhere. Therefore, Ling Xiao had been observing very carefully along the way. Those broken palaces, corpses, and broken weapons were all carefully examined by him. With just one look, Ling Xiao discovered many problems. The calamity 10,000 years ago, could it have been a war with the demonic beasts? Ling Xiao's brows furrowed slightly. From the wounds left on the corpses, many of them had been torn apart by sharp claws and bitten by teeth. There were even teeth marks left on the weapons. The blood had already dried up, turning the ground black. Ling Xiao did not speak along the way, as if they could feel the oppressive aura from Ling Xiao. Ling Qingqing and the rest were curious about Ling Xiao's behavior, but they did not disturb him. After a few hours, when Ling Xiao and the rest entered the Desolation Mountains, they saw two towering mountains in front of them. Ling Qingqing and Xia Hongxiu were pleasantly surprised. Twin mountains? The spirit spring is in the middle of the twin mountains. Let's speed up, Ling Qingqing said to Ling Xiao. On the other hand, Ling Xiao's eyes narrowed. The two enormous mountains were very close to each other, and they faintly emanated a trace of terrifying sword intent. It was like two divine swords that shot into the sky, and it caused one's mind to tremble. Moreover, Ling Xiao noticed that they weren't twin mountains at all. They were a towering mountain that had been split apart at the center to form two peaks. Such terrifying sword intent and combat strength. The person who split the mountain apart was at least a peerless expert at the monarch realm. Chapter 246. In the middle of the twin mountains was the one-line sky. The space between the two mountain peaks was only a dozen meters wide. Looking up, the mountain walls pierced straight into the sky, covering the sky and the sun. When they arrived at the one-line sky, Ling Xiao could feel the terror of the sword intent. To be able to condense for 10,000 years without dissipating, this sword doubt was truly terrifying. Everyone, be careful. The spiritual fountain should be nearby. Everyone, look carefully. The one-line sky was shrouded in a thin layer of white mist, obstructing everyone's vision. They could only feel their way forward. Ling Qingqing's voice was a little excited. There were black mountain walls on both sides and gravel at their feet. Everyone's eyes were alert as they carefully walked into the white mist. After walking for an unknown period of time, Ling Xiao realized that they were still within the range of the white mist. Ling Xiao also felt that the white mist in front of him had a faint mysterious rhythm. Stop! We've already fallen into a formation. I didn't expect to encounter a natural maze formation. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he spoke slowly. Maze formation. Ling Qingqing's eyes revealed a trace of doubt. That's right. If I'm not wrong, the earth qi here intertwines and the spiritual veins are broken. This white mist is formed by the earth qi. With the mysterious topography of the one-line sky, it formed a natural maze formation. That's why we've been walking for so long, but we're just walking on the same spot. Ling Xiao said plainly. Buzz. Ling Xiao's powerful spiritual energy spread out. He could clearly sense that the flow of the white mist was like a whirlpool. It had a strange rhythm, causing everyone to be led by the nose. Is there a way to break the formation? Li Qingfeng asked. Yes. Ling Xiao nodded affirmatively. A smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Since there's a maze formation, it means that the spiritual fountain is nearby. Don't move, I'll break the formation. This so-called maze formation was mysterious. However, for someone with powerful spiritual energy like Ling Xiao, he could easily see through the essence of the maze formation. Whoosh! Ling Xiao leaped up and stepped on the mountain walls on both sides. He jumped hundreds of feet high. However, the white mist seemed to rise with him. The surroundings were white and they couldn't tell the direction. It's just a maze formation. Break it for me. A golden vortex flickered in Ling Xiao's eyes. He looked in a direction within the white fog and punched out. Rumble. Ling Xiao's punch landed somewhere in the white mist, causing a loud bang. Then, a huge mountain wall was shattered by Ling Xiao's punch. The ground trembled slightly, as if the mountains on both sides were about to collapse. Li Qingfeng and the others' expressions changed slightly. Roar. Following that, a gale roared and strong winds blew. The white fog churned violently and was sucked in by a powerful wind. In an instant, it became very chaotic. The white fog gradually dissipated, and only then did everyone realize that there was a bottomless abyss a few feet in front of them. If it weren't for Ling Zhao's vigilance, they might have really stepped into it. This damned maze formation. Li Qingfeng and the rest had a look of fear on their faces. Ling Xiao, how did you break this maze array? Ling Qingqing asked curiously. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, it's very simple. This maze array was originally formed because of the special terrain of the one-line sky. Look at that mountain wall, it's the weakest point. It's also the eye of the wind. After I pierced through it, the wind surged and broke the intertwining qi activity here. Naturally, the maze array was broken. Sure enough, after the white fog dissipated, the place Ling Xiao was pointing at had a large hole punched out by Ling Xiao. It was as if a mountain wall had been pierced through. The wind howled angrily, emitting ghostly wails and howls. The tranquility of the entire one-line sky was instantly broken. Ling Qingqing's beautiful eyes shone with a strange light. Ling Xiao made it sound easy, but it wasn't that easy to do. If he didn't see through the maze formation at first glance, how could he find a way to break it and punch out the eye of the wind? You said that this maze formation was formed by the intertwining of qi and spiritual veins. Could it be that the spiritual spring is underground? Ling Qingqing suddenly thought of Ling Zhao's words, and her eyes revealed a trace of surprise. That's right. To be exact, it should be in this abyss. Ling Xiao smiled and pointed at the bottomless abyss in front of them. The abyss in front of them was pitch black, like a crack in the ground. It emitted a mysterious aura, and the white fog was actually dissipating from the abyss. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go down quickly. Qingfeng's eyes instantly lit up as he said excitedly. It's better to be careful. After all, we don't know what's in the abyss. Xia Hongxiu, who had been silent all this time, spoke up. For some reason, this abyss was like the mouth of a primordial beast, as if it contained some unknown danger. It made people feel a chill in their hearts. Princess is right. Let me go down and check it out first. If it's safe, you guys can come down. Ling Xiao looked at the abyss below, and a strange light suddenly flashed in his eyes. Let me go down. Ling Xiao, you protect them from above. Qingfeng chuckled. He was quite loyal. With a flash of light in his hand, a dagger appeared, and he prepared to jump into the abyss. I'll do it. My qinggong is much better than yours. Ling Xiao pulled Qingfeng and patted his shoulder. Without waiting for him to speak, he jumped into the abyss. This brat is too reckless. Ling Qingqing couldn't stop him and laughed bitterly. I haven't heard of any danger in this spiritual spring. Everyone, don't worry. Ling Xiao should be coming up soon. Xia Hongxiu also comforted them. In the abyss. Although Ling Xiao was only at the 4th level of the Dragon Tiger realm, his Xiantian Gang Qi was extremely dense. At this moment, his powerful cultivation erupted, and a ball of golden Gang Qi gathered under his feet, carrying him quickly into the abyss. The reason why Ling Xiao wanted to check it out was because when he stood above the abyss, the wordless heavenly book in his sea of consciousness actually trembled slightly, and let out a trace of excitement. Ling Zhao's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that there was something in this abyss that attracted the wordless heavenly book? As Ling Xiao sneaked into the abyss, the hole above him became so small that it was almost undetectable. After about 1,000 feet, Ling Zhao's feet finally touched the bottom of the abyss. It was pitch black all around, and the faint sound of water dripping could be heard. It was extremely quiet. Ling Zhao's mental strength was extremely strong, and the surrounding darkness was clearly visible to his eyes. At the bottom of the abyss, there was actually an extremely huge underground cave. Moreover, in front of Ling Xiao, there was a faint light that emitted an extremely pure spiritual qi fluctuation. That's the spiritual spring. Chapter 247. The dark cave was like an underground world, incomparably vast. There were strange stones all around, and above his head hung clusters of stones, like arrows, sharp and sharp. But about 100 zhang in front of Ling Xiao, there was a spring water, emitting a misty light, and wisps of white spiritual mist pervaded the air. Ling Xiao slowly walked forward, stopping in front of the spring water. In front of him was a stone pool with a radius of several zhang. At the bottom of the pool, there was a thin layer of crystal-clear spring water, surrounded by white mist. And in the middle of the stone pool, a pinky-sized spring water gushed out, looking gorgeous and dazzling. In the darkness, there was a different kind of beauty. Whoosh! A sense of danger rose in Ling Xiao's heart, and then there was the sound of something breaking through the air, like a bolt of silver lightning. Without thinking, Ling Xiao used his palm as a knife and chopped down. Clang! As if he had struck a metal rock, sparks and light burst out. The silver lightning in front of him was knocked back by Ling Xiao, falling into the spiritual spring. Hiss! At this time, Ling Xiao discovered that the silver lightning was a small silver snake. It looked to be only a foot long, and its whole body was shining with silver light, as if it had merged with the spring water. There was a small horn on the snake's head, and a cold and bloodthirsty look appeared in the snake's eyes. It flicked its tongue and stared at Ling Xiao. It's actually a silver-ringed lightning snake. I didn't expect there to be such a wild beast here. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, recognizing the origin of the silver snake in front of him. Legend had it that the silver-ringed lightning snake had a trace of the bloodline of the true dragon. A mature silver-ringed lightning snake could not only ride the clouds, but also control lightning. Its speed was extremely fast, and its strength was monstrous. Just like the silver-ringed lightning snake in front of him, it was only in its infancy, and was only a rank 4 demonic beast. But after being struck by Ling Xiao's palm knife, it was actually unharmed. And that speed made Ling Xiao's heart tremble. Perhaps even a martial scholar expert would be bitten by the silver-ringed lightning snake if they were not prepared. The silver-ringed lightning snake was highly toxic, and extremely difficult to neutralize. Even a martial scholar expert would die without a doubt if they were bitten. Hiss! The silver-ringed lightning snake let out a soft hiss, and there seemed to be silver lightning flashing in its mouth. In the next moment, it broke through the air, and bit at Ling Xiao's neck from a very tricky angle. Bastard, you're courting death. A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. He grabbed at the snake from the air. Golden divine light flashed in his hand, and he instantly grabbed the snake's vital point. How terrifying was Ling Xiao's divine strength! Even though the silver-ringed lightning snake was a savage mutant, with its weak point pinched by Ling Xiao, it instantly wilted. Its eyes actually revealed a hint of a human begging for mercy. A mere rank 4 demonic beast actually has such a strong intelligence. Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. Since this silver-ringed lightning snake was born from the spirit spring, it would naturally treat the spirit spring as its own territory. And this astonishing spirituality was probably caused by the spirit spring. Fine, I can spare your life. Are you willing to submit to me? Ling Xiao's eyes flickered as he said indifferently. Hiss! The silver-ringed lightning snake nodded repeatedly, causing Ling Xiao to be speechless. It simply did not have any of the pride of a demonic beast. Wang! Ling Xiao pointed out a finger and a sharp light landed on the silver-ringed lightning snake's body. He extracted a drop of blood and then drew a mysterious rune in the air. Together with the drop of blood, he fused it with the silver-ringed lightning snake's head. Slave seal. This was a special method used to enslave demonic beasts. After being inflicted with the slave seal, not only would the silver-ringed lightning snake be innately close to Ling Xiao, it would also not go against Ling Xiao's wishes. With just a thought, Ling Xiao could control the silver-ringed lightning snake's life and death. If this silver-ringed lightning snake can be nurtured, it can be considered a top-notch demonic beast. I can leave it for Shui Wei to protect herself. Ling Xiao smiled slightly and released the restraints on the silver-ringed lightning snake. The silver-ringed lightning snake instantly landed on Ling Xiao's shoulder. The cold look in its eyes became incomparably gentle. It used its head to gently rub against Ling Xiao in an extremely intimate manner. This silver-ringed lightning snake's defense is extremely strong. I'm afraid that even ordinary bejeweled weapons would find it difficult to break through its snake scales. Moreover, when it breaks through to rank 5, its snake venom would probably be able to poison even a heaven-tier powerhouse to death. Ling Xiao thought to himself. With a thought, the silver-ringed lightning snake instantly turned into a streak of silver lightning and coiled around Ling Xiao's wrist. It looked like a silver bracelet and was extremely beautiful. Ling Xiao checked the spirit spring again and did not find any danger. He then flew out of the abyss and brought Ling Qingqing, Li Qingfeng, and the rest down. It really is the legendary spirit spring. But isn't this spirit spring a little too thin? Li Qingfeng's face was filled with excitement as he walked around the spirit spring. However, when he saw that the spirit spring was only as thick as a pinky finger, he said with some disappointment. You should be content with what you have. Ling Qingqing looked at him exasperatedly and said, if it was a large spirit spring, it would have been plundered by the sacred lands long ago. Although this spirit spring is very small, it's enough for us to break through to the next realm. Let's cultivate here for the next 3 days. When the Yin-Yang Valley opens, we'll go over. That's right. Although this spirit spring is small, it contains an incomparably majestic spiritual qi. It's much stronger than the spiritual qi in spirit crystals. It's enough for the 6 of us to cultivate. Xia Hongxiu also nodded and said. Hee, it's best if we break through a few realms in one go. When that happens, we'll see if those bastards from the Great Huang ancient country still dare to look down on us. Li Qingfeng's eyes were filled with eagerness. The siblings, Lu Feng and Lu Yun, were also very excited. Especially since Lu Yun was only at the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. Perhaps he could use this spirit spring to break through to the Grandmaster realm in one go. Even without the Yin-Yang Valley, this spirit spring was still a huge harvest. This rock pool is not small. Everyone, go ahead and cultivate. Ling Qingqing said with a smile. Everyone nodded excitedly. Then, they walked into the spirit spring and sat down cross-legged to cultivate. Boom! A powerful aura spread out, and the majestic spiritual qi in the spirit spring began to surge towards everyone. The spiritual qi was as vast as the sea, but it was also very gentle. It was absorbed and refined by everyone, and their cultivation began to increase bit by bit. Ling Xiao also sat cross-legged in the spirit spring. Golden divine light lingered around him as the sky-devouring secret technique instantly erupted. Rumble. It was as if there was a 5-colored divine light surrounding Ling Xiao's body. The power of the 5 elements flowed, and the sky-devouring spirit seed buzzed. Heaven-devouring true qi spread out, turning Ling Xiao into a huge vortex. He began to rapidly devour the spiritual qi in the spirit spring. The incomparably pure spiritual qi was devoured and refined by Ling Xiao. It quickly turned into heaven-devouring true qi and integrated into Ling Xiao's huge sea of qi. His cultivation began to slowly increase. Chapter 248. The spiritual spring was created by the heavens and earth. It was formed by the dragon veins and earth qi. Just like those martial holy lands, there were precious spiritual springs that could turn a mountain into a pure land. The concentration of spiritual qi there was far greater than the outside world. However, the spiritual spring in the abyss was too small. Otherwise, Ling Xiao and the rest would not have gotten it. They would have been taken away by the martial holy lands. Ling Xiao used the sky-devouring secret technique and quickly devoured the majestic spiritual qi in the spiritual spring. The aura around him surged and golden light shrouded him. The 5-colored divine light turned him into a devouring vortex. The scene was extremely shocking. This guy. He can even cause such a big commotion when he's cultivating. Ling Qingqing's eyes lit up. Her heart was slightly shaken, but she only smiled bitterly and shook her head. She continued to refine the spiritual spring. Xia Hongxiu's eyes also showed a trace of shock and bitterness. She took a deep breath and began to cultivate. The aura that came from Ling Xiao's body shocked Xia Hongxiu. She guessed that Ling Xiao might have cultivated an extremely powerful Tian-tier martial art. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to be so terrifying. Xia Hongxiu was a little disappointed. The gap between them was getting bigger and bigger. She began to feel a faint sense of regret. Ling Xiao was immersed in cultivation. As the majestic spiritual qi in the spiritual spring was refined, his cultivation became stronger and stronger. Boom! After a few hours, a strong wave of cultivation spread out. Ling Xiao's cultivation had broken through to the 5th level of the Dragon-Tiger realm. However, more than half of the spiritual spring in the rock pool was devoured by Ling Xiao. This spiritual spring is enough for a grandmaster to break through a few levels. However, I only broke through 1 level. It seems that if I want to continue to break through, this spiritual spring is not enough. Ling Xiao smiled bitterly and woke up from his cultivation state. He had several peerless godly techniques. Furthermore, Ling Xiao had broken through to the 10th level of the complete realm in each of his realms. This made his accumulation very strong, which made it much harder for him to break through. Therefore, Ling Xiao did not plan to continue cultivating. Breaking through 1 or 2 levels would not affect his combat strength much. Unless he could break through to the Grandmaster realm in one go. Ling Xiao stood up from the spiritual spring. He did not disturb Ling Qingqing, Li Qingfeng and the rest. Instead, he headed deeper into the cave. For some reason, the wordless heavenly book in Ling Xiao's Sea of Consciousness became more and more agitated after he arrived at the underground cave. The direction seemed to be the depths of the underground cave. There was something there that had a strong attraction to the wordless heavenly book. Could it be some kind of heavenly treasure? A glint flashed across Ling Xiao's eyes as he followed the strange undulations and walked forward. The underground cave was vast, and there were many dark passageways leading to unknown areas. Ling Xiao followed the strange tunnel and crossed an underground river. He saw countless strange rocks and even some broken corpses and weapons in the tunnel. It was quiet all around, except for the occasional sound of water dripping. The further they walked, the colder the air became. The coldness seemed to come from the bottom of their hearts, making them shudder. Ling Xiao instinctively felt that he couldn't go any further. There was a fatal danger ahead. But at this moment, the wordless heavenly book shone brightly in Ling Xiao's Sea of Consciousness, releasing waves of anticipation. It was as if there was something in front that was attracting the wordless heavenly book more and more. Let's go take a look. Ling Xiao hesitated for a moment but decided to continue. There were many secrets in the 8 desolate secret territory. This was the first feeling Ling Xiao had when he arrived. The calamity 10,000 years ago should have happened after Ling Xiao's death. The weakening of the Changsun sect, the destruction of the 4 ancient nations, and Jin Sei's disappearance all pointed to that mysterious calamity. Only by finding the cause of that calamity would he be able to find information about Jin Sei and the rest. Ling Xiao could faintly feel that the 8 desolate secret territory was not simple. Logically speaking, the 8 desolate secret territory was the battlefield of that calamity 10,000 years ago. It contained the treasures and legacies of the 4 ancient nations. But who would spend so much effort to seal off such a large area? This feeling was as if the 8 desolate secret territory had become a prison, imprisoning something terrifying. If it was not for the fact that the seal had weakened after 10,000 years, and the fact that the martial Holy Lands had worked together to break open the 8 desolate secret territory and take away a large amount of legacies and treasures, no one would know the whereabouts of the 8 desolate secret territory. Perhaps the truth that Ling Xiao was looking for was hidden under the heavy fog. The underground cave was unexpectedly huge. Ling Xiao passed through a few forks and walked for 100 miles before coming to a stop. In front of them, a mysterious underground sea appeared. The sea water was black and endless, with no end in sight. However, above the sea water, there were strands of strange black fog floating. There was no sound of flowing water. The black sea before him was deathly still and calm. However, Ling Xiao felt a fatal danger from the seawater. That is, Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he stared at the black mist above the sea. The strange black mist floated slowly as if it had a life of its own. It changed into various mysterious shapes and exuded a faint dark and evil aura. Ling Xiao was shocked because the strange black mist was exactly the same as the one he had encountered in the mysterious bronze divine palace in the fierce beast mountain range. It was the aura of the strange creatures. Strange creatures. Could it be that the calamity 10,000 years ago was related to those strange creatures? Ling Xiao's expression changed slightly as he thought of a possibility. Buzz. When Ling Xiao saw the black mist seemed to have seen Ling Xiao as well. It quickly spread toward Ling Xiao. Boom! Ling Xiao struck out with his palm and a vast amount of energy exploded. The wind from his palm whistled and swept away the black mist. However, it seemed to have hit nothing. The strange mist was not affected at all. It continued to gather and then approached Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao was about to do something when the wordless heavenly book in his sea of consciousness moved. Swoosh! A brilliant light spread out from between Ling Xiao's eyebrows and turned into a huge vortex, swallowing all the strange mist. Boom! The wordless heavenly book's action seemed to have angered the black mist. The black mist in the sea actually rioted at this moment. The mist that covered the sky and the earth contained a cold and evil aura. It was as if it was going to drag people into hell forever as it whizzed over. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The excited fluctuations from the wordless heavenly book grew stronger and stronger. The light that shot out from between Ling Xiao's eyebrows also grew brighter. Strands of light intertwined like divine chains and flashed with strange runes that Ling Xiao could not understand. Chapter 249. After the wordless heavenly book devoured the strange black fog, it actually gave back traces of mysterious energy. Traces of warm aura blended into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness, causing Ling Xiao's mental strength to begin to grow. Ling Xiao was shocked. He could feel the wordless heavenly book's desire for the strange black fog. After suffering such a huge loss, the black fog seemed to have realized the power of the vortex in the void. It seemed to have been frightened and fled into the sea. Boom! But how could the wordless heavenly book let go? Suddenly, a dazzling light shone in the void, illuminating the underground cave. From the vortex in the void, strands of mysterious light emerged and swept in all directions. Immediately, a large amount of black fog was captured and refined by the wordless heavenly book. Rumble. At this moment, the calm sea in front of him suddenly began to boil. The waves surged and rolled, faintly forming a huge whirlpool. It was as if some unknown existence had awakened. A fatal danger shrouded his heart, and Ling Xiao's expression changed drastically. Oh no! Ling Xiao hurriedly activated the wordless heavenly book and gave up on devouring the black fog. Although the wordless heavenly book was unwilling, it eventually quieted down. Ling Xiao was now certain that the wordless heavenly book had awakened the terrifying existence in the sea. And the black sea water, Ling Xiao realized that it was formed by the strange black fog. Moreover, there was a mysterious power of law intertwined in it, binding a large amount of black fog and preventing it from escaping. The vast sea is actually formed by the strange black fog. What exactly is sealed in it? Ling Xiao felt his scalp go numb. He exerted all his cultivation and turned to run. Rumble. The black fog surged like a huge wave. In the huge vortex, a huge head slowly emerged. Crack. Black lightning spread across the void. Strands of black fog rose as if cheering and galloping. The head was as big as a small mountain. It was impossible to see its appearance clearly. Moreover, there was a strange ancient sword on the head, emitting a peerless sharpness. The head emerged from the sea of black fog, emitting a peerless evil spirit that made the world tremble. A pair of blood-red moon-like eyes slowly opened. Rumble. It was as if he was a peerless ferocious beast that swallowed the heavens. His eyes were cold, bloodthirsty, and contained a monstrous rage. After being stared at by him, Ling Xiao felt as if his entire body had sunk into mud, unable to move. This strange creature is able to trigger the power of the natural laws of heaven and earth. At the very least, it has the power of a supremacy. How can there be such a terrifying creature in the 8 desolate mystic realm? Ling Xiao's heart trembled as an incomparably grave expression appeared in his eyes. At the same time, the sense of danger in his heart rose to the extreme. Being stared at by such a terrifying creature, Ling Xiao felt a sense of helplessness. The gap was too big. Rumble. At this moment, there seemed to be countless runes shining above his head, bursting out in a mighty manner. Like a canopy in the sky, a blazing wave of divine light burst out in an instant, suppressing the terrifying creature below. At this moment, Ling Xiao's body felt light. Without even thinking, he unleashed all of his cultivation and shot off into the distance like a bolt of golden lightning. Boom! Behind him, a terrifying divine light burst out, completely enveloping the terrifying creature. At a place where Ling Xiao couldn't see, the ancient sword that was inserted into the head of the terrifying being suddenly erupted with a peerless sword light that swept out in all directions. It was mighty, masculine, and vast, and it evaporated a large expanse of the sea of black mist. Roar! Wait until I break out of the seal. I will slaughter the entire 8 desolate mystic realm, a terrifying voice reverberated in the karst cave, but it did not shatter a single rock. It was as if there was some mysterious power that had confined this space. The terrifying creature unwillingly fell silent. However, the strange ancient sword above his head had been forced out by him by more than half. Only the tip of the sword was left, as if it had triggered the power of the natural laws, firmly suppressing the creature. Ling Xiao flew for dozens of miles. When there was no movement behind him, he finally stopped. There was a trace of fear in his eyes. The 8 desolate mystic realm is indeed a place where great evil is sealed. If not for the seal, I'm afraid I would have died there. Ling Xiao laughed bitterly as he muttered to himself. However, Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with doubt. This was because Ling Xiao had felt a very familiar aura from the seal that had erupted, but he could not recall it. Ling Xiao shook his head and looked around. He realized that he had come to an unfamiliar place. In front of him was an underground river that twisted and turned, leading into the distance. They are cultivating in that spiritual spring. It should be very safe. I'd better go out and investigate. Following this underground river, I should be able to find the exit. Ling Xiao thought for a moment and flew into the distance. The underground river was indeed connected to the outside world. When Ling Xiao followed the underground river and left the karst cave, he saw a huge waterfall in front of him. The cliff was thousands of feet high, and the huge waterfall rushed down. The surging waves were majestic and majestic. The huge pool below the waterfall turned into a huge river that flowed towards the mountains in the distance. Over there, Ling Xiao could vaguely see a dilapidated palace complex. Furthermore, there were figures flashing. Are they from the Great Huang ancient country? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. In an instant, he concealed his aura and sneaked into the distance. Ling Xiao's mental strength was very strong, and his eyesight was also very sharp. Therefore, he easily discovered that the 3 people were following Huang Yunji. However, looking at their sneaky figures, he did not know what they were planning. Ling Xiao's mouth curved into a smile as he quietly crept towards the 3 people. Why do you think the 7th prince wants us to follow the people from the great Xian ancient country? Can't he just capture them and interrogate them? Why is it so troublesome? A voice said with dissatisfaction. It's not as simple as you think. I heard that although Ji Shuiyao's cultivation is only at the 9th level of the Dragon-Tiger realm, her combat strength is extremely abnormal. Even the 7th prince is wary of her. Anyway, no matter what treasure they find, it will definitely be ours. Another voice said calmly. However, these little girls are really beautiful. Their figures are simply enough to make one's bones go soft. Hee, when the 7th prince is done, we brothers will also have a good time. That's a good idea. Ha ha ha, be alert. Don't be discovered by them. The 7th prince will be here soon. The 3 geniuses from the great Huang ancient country whispered. Not far away, Ling Zhao's eyes flashed and revealed a trace of coldness. Chapter 250. The dilapidated palaces were located between 2 mountains. One could still see the glorious buildings from 10,000 years ago, but now, they were all in ruins. Ling Xiao could see that Ji Shuiyao and the rest had already entered the ruins, and the 3 from the great Huang ancient country quickly followed behind. This is the spiritual herbal garden. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. There were actually some spiritual herbs growing in the ruins. Although they were very ordinary, from the size of the area, it should have been a huge spiritual herbal garden in the past. Ji Shuiyao and the rest carefully inspected the ruins, but did not pick any of the spiritual herbs. Finally, they stopped in front of a large green rock. The 3 from the great Huang ancient country were hiding far away, and their auras were completely concealed. It was as if they had some kind of aura-concealing treasure on them. Ordinary people would not be able to discover them. Ji Shuiyao and the rest looked around vigilantly, then they surrounded the large green rock. A golden jade pendant appeared in Ji Shuiyao's hand, emitting a dazzling light. Buzz! Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he saw Ji Shuiyao imprint the jade pendant on the large green rock. The large green rock rippled like water, and a fragrance spread out. Then, Ji Shuiyao and the rest revealed an incomparably excited expression. They stepped into the ripples and disappeared in front of the large green rock. It's actually a mustard seed array. It seems like the treasure Ji Shuiyao is looking for should be in that large green rock. Ling Xiao was a little surprised. That large green rock was actually a camouflage. It used a mustard seed array to cover the void and hide the treasure. This method was very powerful, and it meant that there must be a great treasure inside. Ling Xiao did not act rashly. Since the people from the great Huang ancient country wanted to be the mantis, he didn't mind being the oriole. There's actually a mustard seed array in this spiritual herbal garden. Ha ha ha. It seems like there must be an unimaginable treasure inside. Quickly informed the 7th prince. The 3 from the great Huang ancient country revealed an incomparably excited expression. Ji Shuiyao opening the entrance of the large green rock gave the 3 of them a shock. If it wasn't for Ji Shuiyao, they wouldn't have been able to find the treasure no matter what. Not long after, Huang Yunji brought a few people over. The faint sense of danger in Ling Zhao's heart rose again. It seems that the Wan Shou sect's people are hiding among these people. Ling Zhao's eyes flickered as he glanced at Huang Yunji and the other geniuses from the Grand Huang ancient country. In the end, Ling Zhao's gaze landed on an ordinary-looking young man behind Huang Yunji. The young man looked ordinary, and his cultivation was only at LV1 of the supreme power realm. It was easy for people to ignore his existence, but in Ling Zhao's eyes, this ordinary-looking young man in a black robe was the source of the danger in his heart. It's actually a powerhouse at the 1st level of the heaven tier. The Wan Shou sect really put in a lot of effort. A cold light flashed in Ling Zhao's eyes. His spiritual energy was extremely powerful, and he could sense that the black-robed young man was exuding a faint celestial qi. After all, he was only at the 1st tier of the celestial realm. That kind of aura of being one with the heavens and the earth was not so easy to conceal. Ling Xiao could feel that the reason why the black-robed young man looked so simple was because his entire being seemed to have become one with the heavens and the earth, making it easy for people to overlook his existence. However, with the seal of the 8 Desolations Secret Land, the highest combat strength here is only at LV9 of the Supreme Power Realm. If you want to die, I don't mind fulfilling your wish. Ling Xiao thought to himself. The reason why Xia Long and the other 3 Celestial Realm powerhouses did not enter the 8 Desolations Secret Land was not only that the 4 of them were needed to maintain the entrance, but also that the seal of the 8 Desolations Secret Land was very strong. Even a noble realm powerhouse could only exert combat strength at LV9 of the Supreme Power Realm. Therefore, in the 8 Desolations Secret Land, there was nothing for Ling Xiao to be afraid of except for those unknown and terrifying existences. They have already entered. 7th Prince, let's go in quickly. The 3 men from the Grand Huang ancient country hurriedly reported to Huang Yunji. Very well. Today, not only will the treasure be mine, but Ji Shui Yao will also be mine. The other women of the Grand Xian ancient country will be rewarded to you. Let's go. Huang Yunji's eyes revealed a hint of passion as he laughed heartily. Thank you, 7th Prince. Everyone roared in agreement, and their eyes were filled with incomparable excitement. The Grand Xian ancient country was backed by the Jade Lake sect, so the majority of the geniuses were women. The women of the Grand Xian ancient country had celestial skin and jade bones. Even the geniuses of the Grand Huang ancient country were no exception. In their eyes, as long as the 7th Prince was here, whether it was the treasure or the people of the Grand Xian ancient country, everything was already in the bag. Huang Yunji and the others also entered the mustard seed array on the green rock. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he followed after a moment. Buzz! With a flash of light, Ling Xiao appeared in a valley. In front of him were green mountains and a few towering ancient trees. The valley was filled with exotic flowers and plants. There was also a small green lake that was as clear and calm as a mirror. After entering the array, Ling Xiao instantly turned into a ray of light and flew up an ancient tree without making any noise. Ji Shuiyao's group and Huang Yunji's group didn't notice Ling Xiao. They were facing each other hundreds of meters away from him with an unfriendly expression. Beside them, there was an ancient tree that was about 1 zhang tall. Its branches were knotted, and its leaves were sparse. However, it emitted an emerald green radiance. There were more than 10 golden peaches hanging from its branches. They were like flames, flowing with gorgeous golden multicolored light. Moreover, there was an enticing aroma that lifted the spirits of those who smelled it. It's the immortality peach ancient tree? Ling Xiao's eyes widened, and a look of shock appeared on his face. He immediately recognized that this ancient tree was the legendary immortality peach ancient tree. It was a top spirit root comparable to a king medicine. The immortality peach ancient tree sprouted once every 300 years, bloomed once every 300 years, and bore fruit once every 300 years. The immortality peach ancient tree had a very mysterious effect. Not only could it help a cultivator to be reborn, but it could also increase one's aptitude and cultivation. More importantly, the immortality peach ancient tree could extend one's life by 300 years. One had to know that a grandmaster only had a lifespan of 200 years. Even if they broke through to the heaven realm, they wouldn't live past 500 years. If the cultivators who were nearing the end of their lifespan knew that one immortality peach ancient tree could increase one's lifespan by 300 years, they would definitely fight for it. I've never heard of the immortality peach ancient tree in the 8 great ancient countries. Could it be that they obtained it later? No wonder Ji Shui Yao is so anxious about the treasures here. If they knew about the existence of the immortality peach ancient tree, I'm afraid all the old guys in the martial Holy Lands would go crazy. Ling Xiao thought to himself as a smile appeared on his face. Chapter 251. The Immortality Peach Tree. I didn't expect the 8 Desolations secret territory to have such a treasure. It seems like this prince is truly blessed today. Ji Shuiyao, are you going to surrender or wait for me to make a move? Huang Yunji stared at the immortality peach tree in front of him. His eyes were filled with greed as he stared at Ji Shuiyao. The people from the Grand Yellow Ancient Kingdom surrounded Ji Shuiyao's group with an unfriendly expression. In terms of cultivation, the Grand Yellow Ancient Kingdom was one level higher than the Grand Mysterious Ancient Kingdom. Outside of Huang Yunji, who was a 6th-level Grandmaster, there was another 5th-level Grandmaster and a 4th-level Grandmaster. On the Grand Mysterious Ancient Kingdom's side, Ji Shuiyao was at the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm while the strongest was only at the 4th level. However, in terms of cultivation, the Grand Mysterious Ancient Kingdom would definitely be at a disadvantage in a real battle. This was why Huang Yunji was so fearless. Ji Shuiyao stood in front of Huang Yunji with a veil covering her face and a snow-white robe. At this moment, there was a hint of coldness in her bright eyes. Huang Yunji, this immortality peach tree was found by my Grand Mysterious Ancient Kingdom. If you leave now, I will let bygones be bygones. Ji Shuiyao's voice was cold as she exuded an otherworldly aura like a goddess from the Moon Palace. No one dared to look at her directly. Huang Yunji greedily stared at Ji Shuiyao's body as if he wanted to strip her naked. He suppressed the evil fire in his heart and sneered, "Princess Shuiyao, the treasures in the 8 Desolation secret territory are all ownerless. If you want to obtain a treasure, you must rely on your strength." What a joke. What qualifications do you have to say that I will let bygones be bygones? Let me tell you, today, not only will I have the immortality peach tree, but I will also have you. How dare you? The young men and women from the Grand Mysterious Ancient Kingdom angrily glared at Huang Yunji. In their eyes, Ji Shuiyao was a supreme goddess from the 9 heavens. No one could profane her. Huang Yunji's words had touched their reverse scale. Humph. The people from the Grand Yellow Ancient Kingdom also snorted and took a step forward. Their powerful auras caused the people from the Grand Mysterious Ancient Kingdom to lose their colors. Princess Shuiyao, have you thought it through? As long as you agree to be my woman, then from now on, our Grand Yellow Ancient Kingdom and the Grand Mysterious Ancient Kingdom will be the strongest allies. Also, it is your fortune to be able to become the women of our geniuses. Huang Yunji had an arrogant look on his face as he swept his gaze across Ji Shuiyao and the other pretty girls. I've thought it through. Ji Shuiyao nodded her head, a strange look in her eyes. Oh. So, Shuiyao, you've agreed. Ha ha ha, don't worry, I will definitely love you dearly. Huang Yunji's eyes lit up, and his heart burned with passion. I've thought it through. You deserve to die. Ji Shuiyao's eyes suddenly flashed with a cold light. She shot forward like a beam of light, exuding an unparalleled sword intent. Her finger was like a sword, and a powerful sword light pierced towards Huang Yunji's forehead. This move was earth-shattering. The terrifying sword intent pressed down on Huang Yunji, causing his expression to change drastically. You're courting death. Huang Yunji's eyes became incomparably gloomy. His cultivation of the 6th level of the Grandmaster realm erupted as he sent a palm strike towards Ji Shuiyao. In his opinion, although Ji Shuiyao was rumored to be extremely powerful, she was only at the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. She was no match for him. Boom! The sword intent was pure and vast as if it could encompass heaven and earth. It actually penetrated Huang Yunji's palm strike in an instant and shot towards his forehead like lightning. Mysterious Heaven Sword Technique? Huang Yunji's expression changed drastically. He instantly saw through the mystery of the sword intent and became extremely embarrassed. He had to use all of his cultivation to barely dodge the sword light. However, a trace of blood was left behind between his eyebrows. Huang Yunji's expression instantly became extremely ugly. No wonder Princess Shuiyao's cultivation of the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm can suppress a Grandmaster realm expert. It turns out that she has cultivated the heaven-level low-grade Mysterious Heaven Sword technique. However, you're not the only one who knows heaven-level martial arts. Die! Huang Yunji said with a ferocious expression. There was a flash of light in his hand and an azure gold battle saber appeared, emitting a cold light. At the same time, a roaring lion seemed to appear behind him. Its aura was monstrous and oppressive. As Huang Yunji raised his battle saber, it pressed down from the sky. Mad Lion Rage Saber. Huang Yunji's body exuded an overbearing aura as he slashed his saber toward Ji Shuiyao. The Mad Lion Rage Saber was a peerless martial art of the great Huang ancient country. It was a heaven-level low-grade saber. When used, it was like an ancient lion destroying the world. However, Ling Xiao, who was hiding at the side, shook his head. He could see that this Mad Lion Rage Saber required an indomitable aura and a domineering aura. Although Huang Yunji seemed to be very powerful when using it, Ling Xiao was able to see the flaws in the saber technique with a single glance. Huang Yunji's domineering aura was arrogant and despotic. He had not truly comprehended the true meaning of the Mad Lion Rage Saber. In comparison, Ji Shuiyao surprised Ling Xiao because she had cultivated the mysterious heaven sword art to the small completion stage. Moreover, there was a very powerful bloodline power in Ji Shuiyao's body that made Ling Xiao feel threatened. Ji Shuiyao's bloodline was very mysterious. Mad Lion Rage Saber. Ji Shuiyao's eyes flashed. She leaped into the air like a goddess. Her figure was ethereal, and an ancient blue sword appeared in her hand as well. It emitted a dazzling light. Sword chi swept across the void, and a mighty sword will exploded. Slash! Ji Shuiyao spat. In an instant, a dazzling sword light slashed down toward Huang Yunji, forming a huge blue sword light in the void. Boom! When the saber and sword collided, it was as if thunder had exploded in the void. Endless light shot out in all directions, and the lion in the void exploded. Ji Shuiyao and Huang Yunji's bodies trembled and they were both sent flying. Ji Shuiyao was like a fairy as she spun in the void before landing gracefully on the ground. Huang Yunji, on the other hand, was in a sorry state. He flew back dozens of feet and almost fell on his butt. This woman's battle strength is too abnormal. Huang Yunji secretly thought as a sharp light flashed in his eyes. Everyone, attack! Kill all the men and capture the women. Huang Yunji's voice was incomparably cold. Yes. The people from the great yellow ancient country trembled and erupted with all their cultivation as they charged toward the geniuses from the great mysterious ancient country. Form the battle formation of 4 symbols and slaughter everyone from the great yellow ancient country. Ji Shuiyao's eyes revealed a trace of killing intent as she coldly ordered. The 8 geniuses from the great mysterious ancient country also responded. They formed groups of 4 and formed the battle formation of 4 symbols as they charged forward. Chapter 252. The battle broke out in an instant. Although the people from the grand mysterious ancient kingdom were weaker, the battle formation of 4 symbols was quite strange. The 4 of them occupied the east, west, north, and south positions. Their auras were connected to each other, forming a grand momentum of heaven and earth that doubled their battle strength. With the battle formation of 4 symbols, each of them could erupt with 4 times their normal strength. Even when facing the geniuses of grand yellow ancient country whose cultivation was higher than theirs, they were still able to fight with greater ferocity. There were faint signs of them suppressing their opponents. What? Huang Yunji's expression changed and his eyes became gloomy. He didn't expect the people from the grand mysterious ancient kingdom to be so difficult to deal with. He originally thought it would be easy to deal with them, but he didn't expect his side to be at a disadvantage. Whoosh! The moment Huang Yunji was distracted, a sharp sword energy slashed across his cheek and left a bloody mark. Ji Shuiyao held the blue ancient sword and used the mysterious heaven sword art. Her clothes fluttered as she soared into the air like a peerless sword goddess and charged toward Huang Yunji. Ji Shuiyao. When I catch you, I'll let you taste a fate worse than death. Huang Yunji flew into a rage. His face was ferocious. Holding the azurite saber in his hand, he rushed over with a violent aura. Clang! Huang Yunji used the wild lion blade. The blade energy was incomparably sharp and slashed through the air. However, it was blocked by the blue ancient sword in Ji Shuiyao's hand and erupted with a bright divine light. Huang Yunji, on the other hand, felt a strong force coming from the ancient blue sword. His arm went numb, and the green-gold saber in his hand almost flew out of his hand. Wild lion roar. Huang Yunji roared. The azurite saber in his hand rotated rapidly, emitting a strange sound wave. It was as fast as lightning. The sound of the saber was like the roar of a mad lion, almost making people's mind collapse. Ji Shuiyao's body also trembled as if she was affected by the strange sound wave. She paused in the air for a moment. Kill! Huang Yunji's eyes lit up, and his azure gold battle saber slashed down without hesitation. The violent saber light instantly split Ji Shuiyao in half. An afterimage? There wasn't the scene of blood splattering. Instead, an afterimage disappeared before Huang Yunji's eyes. Huang Yunji's expression changed as he felt a fatal danger coming from behind him. He didn't even think about it and used the blade to block behind him. Boom! An unparalleled sword light pierced towards Huang Yunji. It carried an unparalleled penetrating power and directly collided with the azure golden saber. The violent sword chi erupted and instantly left a bloody mark on Huang Yunji's back. At the same time, the power of the ancient sword pierced through Huang Yunji's protective vigor and slammed into his body. His face reddened as he suddenly vomited blood. Good, very good. Princess Shuiyao, I've underestimated you. But it ends here. Prepare to die. Huang Yunji's eyes were filled with shock and anger. He could not imagine how Ji Shuiyao, who was only in the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm, could injure him. If Ji Shuiyao had broken through to the Grandmaster realm, how terrifying would she be? Huang Yunji's heart instantly surged with a blazing killing intent. Boom! The blood chi in his body began to boil. Huang Yunji's aura rose as an endless baleful aura filled the air. The figure of a scarlet lion appeared behind him. Its eyes were blood red. Huang Yunji's strength began to skyrocket. Berserk Lion Demon Spirit. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. The Grand Huang ancient country was a vassal state of the Myriad Beasts sect. Who would have thought that the Myriad Beasts sect would learn such a method? After the death of a powerful demon beast, the Myriad Beasts sect would use a secret method to extract the demon's spirit and integrate it into the cultivator's body. As the cultivator's cultivation increased, the cultivator would become stronger. Furthermore, after integrating with the demon's spirit, the cultivator would be able to unleash a strength that was several times stronger than before. During the battle between Ling Xiao and Shi Tianluo, if Shi Tianluo hadn't integrated with the heavenly snake demon spirit, he would have lost even faster. Although this berserk lion demon spirit wasn't comparable to Shi Tianluo's heavenly snake demon spirit, it was still very powerful. It actually increased Huang Yunji's strength by several times. Boom! Huang Yunji's black hair was scattered as his body was enveloped in a violent aura. The blade in his hand shone brightly as he slashed towards Ji Shuiyao. Ji Shuiyao's eyes also revealed a trace of seriousness. She felt a strong sense of threat from Huang Yunji's body. Whoosh! Ji Shuiyao didn't take Huang Yunji's blade head-on. Instead, she leaped and dodged. Boom! Where Ji Shuiyao was standing, a towering ancient tree instantly turned into dust. The earth trembled violently as the aura was frightening. Let's see where you can hide. Huang Yunji sneered as he soared through the air. He raised his blade and slashed downwards. Violent blade aura swept towards Ji Shuiyao. Whoosh! 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 Ji Shuiyao's clothes fluttered as she executed the astral steps. Her figure was elegant and graceful as she left behind afterimages in the air, constantly dodging Huang Yunji's attacks. Boom! After Huang Yunji's blade slashed down, Ji Shuiyao's sword soared through the air. The sword light was incomparably sharp as it slashed towards Huang Yunji from the side. However, in the next moment, Ji Shuiyao's expression changed. The berserk lion aura around Huang Yunji was extremely powerful. It was as if it had formed an aura domain, causing her sword light to instantly slow down. Kill! Huang Yunji's eyes revealed a trace of arrogance as he swung his blade. The blade light was as resplendent as the Milky Way, causing the heavens and earth to lose their color. Clang! Sparks flew in all directions as Ji Shuiyao had no choice but to take the attack head-on. She was instantly sent flying dozens of feet away as her face turned pale. Ha ha ha! Princess Shuiyao, be my woman obediently. Otherwise, you'll definitely die today. Huang Yunji laughed arrogantly. After merging with the berserk lion aura, his combat strength had reached its peak. Facing Ji Shuiyao at this moment, he had a mocking attitude. Dream on. Ji Shuiyao's cold voice resounded. The ancient sword in her hand began to vibrate as a mysterious aura rose up. It was as if a Milky Way had appeared behind Ji Shuiyao. At the same time, Ling Zhao's gaze shook. He could feel a mysterious bloodline power slowly awakening within Ji Shuiyao's body, emitting terrifying fluctuations. This kind of power isn't something that can be formed by bloodline power. Who exactly is she? Ling Zhao's heart trembled. This kind of power gave Ling Zhao the feeling that a terrifying life form had suddenly awakened within Ji Shuiyao's body. The power was so strong that even he could feel it. Could it be that Ji Shuiyao was the reincarnation of an expert? Ling Zhao thought of a possibility. Rumble. Chapter 253. Berserk Lion's Wrath. Feeling this terrifying sword essence, Huang Yunji's expression changed drastically, and he felt his scalp go numb. He slashed out with all his might. At the same time, the berserk lion's wrath surged, forming a powerful True Kong defense. Boom! In an instant, heaven and earth fell silent and fell into a world of white. The Milky Way sword ray drowned Huang Yunji. The terrifying sword qi slashed on the berserk lion's wrath, destroying all the saber rays in the sky. Ah! A blood-curdling scream rang out as Huang Yunji's body was sent flying out from the heavenly river sword light. His entire body was dyed red with blood, and one of his arms had turned into dust. He coughed up blood incessantly, and his face was pale as a sheet. He was on his last breath. Ji Shuiyao's face was also pale. It was obvious that this move had taken a toll on her. Her body swayed and she almost fell. Many of the geniuses from the great Huang ancient country were stunned. How could Ji Shuiyao have such terrifying combat strength? A stage 9 Dragon Tiger Realm martial artist had seriously injured Huang Yunji. This kind of combat strength was earth-shattering. It was too demonic. Swoosh! A black-robed young man left the battlefield and caught Huang Yunji. He took out a healing pill and fed it to him. Finally, you can't help but make a move. Ling Zhao's gaze fell on the black-robed young man, revealing a trace of coldness. This black-robed young man was the danger that Ling Zhao had sensed. A Stage 1 Celestial Realm expert had disguised himself as a Stage 1 Grandmaster to sneak into the 8 Desolate Secret Region. He had an extremely mysterious aura concealing treasure on him that had fooled the 4 Celestial Realm experts and almost fooled Ling Zhao. Now that Huang Yunji was seriously injured, he could no longer hide. Who are you? Ji Shuiyao's gaze fell on the black-robed young man, revealing a trace of vigilance. She had not noticed before, but now that the black-robed young man had suddenly jumped out, the hidden aura was also released, making Ji Shuiyao feel a fatal threat. Uncle's son, catch her. I want her to suffer all kinds of torture, so much so that she can neither live nor die. Huang Yunji's face was contorted as he looked at Ji Shuiyao with eyes full of hatred. The anger in his heart could not be washed away even with all the water of the 3 rivers. He looked too miserable. His clothes were in tatters and his body was covered with crisscrossing scars. Especially his left arm, which had completely disappeared. If Huang Yunji could not find the supreme elixir to regrow his severed limbs, it would mean that he would never be able to break through to the celestial being realm. Your Highness, rest well and leave the rest to me. The black-robed young man said indifferently. Then, he signaled the people of the great Huang ancient country to come over and take care of Huang Yunji, while he walked towards Ji Shuiyao and the others. Boom! An incomparably powerful aura rose from the black-robed youth's body, and his cultivation began to skyrocket at a speed visible to the naked eye. First level of the Grandmaster Realm, second level of the Grandmaster Realm, third level of the Grandmaster Realm. It was only until he reached Zhongshe Realm 9 Dan that his cultivation gradually calmed down. It was as if there was some kind of mysterious force restricting his cultivation. The black-robed youth's expression was indifferent and his eyes were cold. His body emitted a violent aura that pressured Ji Shuiyao's group. The people from the grand mysterious ancient kingdom were startled. Celestial being realm expert. You are soul-chasing spear Sun Feng. Ji Shuiyao's body trembled, and her eyes revealed a trace of seriousness. There were very few celestial being realm experts in the 4 ancient countries. Now that the black-robed youth no longer hid his identity, Ji Shuiyao instantly recognized him. Soul-chasing spear Sun Feng's cultivation was at the first level of the celestial being realm. Although the 36 styles soul-chasing spear technique was only an earth-level peerless martial skill, it had reached perfection in his hands. Sun Feng was the grand commander of the great Huang ancient country's royal army, so Ji Shuiyao easily recognized him. Oh. You know me. Sun Feng's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. Ji Shuiyao said coldly, I didn't expect the great Huang ancient country to be so unruly and send you in. Don't you know that celestial being realm experts are not allowed to enter the 8 desolate secret region? Of course I know, but I didn't enter the 8 desolate secret region for you guys. Sun Feng smiled faintly and said, originally, I didn't want to reveal my identity, but I didn't expect a little girl like you to be so powerful. Since that's the case, I can only kill all of you to not affect my grand plan. Sun Feng said casually, but the bone-chilling coldness in his voice greatly changed the expressions of everyone from the great Xian ancient country. Soul-chasing spear Sun Feng was a very dazzling name. He was the leader of the younger generation of the great Huang ancient country 30 years ago. As a commoner, he defeated many geniuses and reached the top in one fell swoop. Legend has it that this person's willpower was firm, and his actions were ruthless. Since he commanded the royal army, countless people had died in his hands. Facing such a person, even Ji Shuiyao couldn't help but change her expression. Sun Feng, if you dare to attack us, you better think about the consequences. Ji Shuiyao's voice became incomparably cold. Consequences? Hee. Little girl, you don't need to worry about this. His Highness said that he wants you to be his woman, so you better obediently come here. Sun Feng's eyes revealed a trace of coldness as he soared through the air towards Ji Shuiyao. He grabbed at the void, exuding a vast and unparalleled aura. When he attacked, there was an earth-shattering momentum. Although he could only explode with the battle strength of a 9th-level Grandmaster, Sun Feng was still a Heaven Realm expert. His cultivation was unparalleled, far from what Ji Shuiyao could contend with. After all, the difference between the two was too great. Boom! Ji Shuiyao's expression changed. The ancient blue sword in her hand trembled, and rays of sharp light flickered as it slashed towards Sun Feng's wrist as fast as lightning. Clang! Sun Feng's 5 fingers were like the claws of an eagle, surrounded by a layer of black baleful aura. He directly grabbed the ancient blue sword, and a strange force emitted from it. Sparks flew in all directions as the ancient sword trembled. Ji Shuiyao felt her arm go numb, and the ancient sword in her hand almost flew out of her hand. Boom! Sun Feng's speed was extremely fast. After After his attack succeeded, he circled behind Ji Shuiyao at a strange angle and slapped out with his palm. Clang! A bright light flashed, and the ancient blue sword trembled non-stop. This time, Ji Shuiyao could no longer hold the ancient sword in her hand, and it instantly flew out of her hand. She was also hit by Sun Feng's palm, and her entire body flew back dozens of feet. An abnormal flush appeared on her face. After all, she had just fought with Huang Yunji. Although Ji Shuiyao had won, she had paid a certain price. Moreover, Sun Feng was bare-handed, and the legendary soul-chasing spear did not appear. Chapter 254. Sun Feng, do you really want to kill all of us? Ji Shuiyao's voice was cold and contained a suppressed anger. The people from the great mysterious ancient kingdom were extremely pale. Even Ji Shuiyao had been defeated, who could save them? Could it be that the people from the great mysterious ancient kingdom were going to die here? Don't worry, you won't die. His Highness will take good care of you. Princess Shuiyao, just obediently surrender. Sun Feng stood with his hands behind his back with an indifferent expression. His powerful aura locked onto Ji Shuiyao. Ji Shuiyao, you slut, I will definitely take good care of you. Huang Yunji's eyes were full of lust and desire as if he wanted to strip off all of Ji Shuiyao's clothes. Ji Shuiyao's face instantly paled. Her eyes revealed a trace of determination as she said, if you want to fight, then let's fight. Even if I die, I won't let you get away with it. You want to die? That depends on whether you can die or not. Since Princess Shuiyao doesn't know how to appreciate favors, then don't blame me for being impolite. Sun Feng sneered and stepped forward in the air. His body emitted a cold and domineering aura that suppressed Ji Shuiyao. Each step seemed to cause the void to tremble. Ji Shuiyao and the people from the great mysterious ancient kingdom couldn't help but reveal a trace of despair on their faces. A dignified Heaven Realm expert actually dares to make a move against a Dragon Tiger Realm girl. Do you still have any shame? A lazy, casual, and clear voice resounded, causing everyone's expression to change as they looked towards the source of the voice. This was especially true for Ji Shuiyao and the people from the grand mysterious ancient kingdom. In the distant forest, a slender youth wearing snow-white clothes walked over. He looked to be around 15 or 16 years old and was very handsome. At this moment, he had a grass vine hanging from the corner of his mouth. His smile was bright and he looked casual and carefree. Ling Xiao. Seeing this youth, Ji Shuiyao was the first to be stunned with a trace of astonishment in her eyes. Why is this guy here? He is only at the 4th level of the Dragon Tiger Realm. Okay, he is already at the 5th level of the Dragon Tiger Realm, but he is still at the bottom of the group. This brat really doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. What can he do here? Ji Shuiyao's eyes revealed a trace of worry. Ling Xiao. Why are you alone? Could it be that the Grand Desolation Ancient Kingdom also wants to overestimate their own capabilities and reap the benefits of others? A cold light flashed in Huang Yunji's eyes. He looked behind Ling Xiao and saw that he was alone. No one else from the Grand Desolation Ancient Kingdom had appeared. When Sun Feng heard Ling Xiao's name, his eyes narrowed and he gave Ling Xiao a deep look. Don't worry, it's just me. I just can't bear to see you bully the weak and bully women. Why don't you give me some face and let Princess Shuiyao and the others go? Ling Xiao smiled casually as he walked over step by step. His eyes were calm, without the slightest hint of fear. Give you face? Who do you think you are? Zhang Qian, since this brat doesn't know what's good for him, kill him. Huang Yunji's eyes revealed a trace of killing intent as he coldly shouted. Yes. Suddenly, a young man with a sinister face jumped out from the great Huang ancient country. His eyes were like a poisonous snake. Although he was only at level 1 of the Grandmaster realm, the cold air he emitted made people shudder. Brat, you'll die if you meddle in other people's business. Since you're courting death, don't blame me for it. Zhang Qian sneered and threw a palm strike at Ling Xiao. Boom! Black innate qi surged and emitted a cold aura. A huge palm print came down from the sky, containing a strong murderous aura. In the face of this attack, Ling Xiao's expression remained unchanged. He was still calm as he walked over step by step. His body was shrouded in a layer of faint golden light, which made him look mysterious and majestic. There was a trace of mysterious qi flowing around him. Stop! Ji Shuiyao's eyes revealed a trace of anxiety as she hurriedly shouted. Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at level 5 of the Dragon Tiger realm. How could he be a match for Zhang Qian? Ji Shuiyao was grateful that this silly brat stood up for her. However, she would feel uneasy if Ling Xiao died because of this. Moreover, before she came to the 8 Desolation secret area, her sister had told her to take care of Ling Xiao if she met him. In a flash, Sun Feng stood in front of Ji Shuiyao and said indifferently, "Princess Shuiyao, you can't even protect yourself. You should take care of yourself first." At the same time, Zhang Qian's palm strike had already landed on Ling Xiao's body. An extremely cold palm strike enveloped Ling Xiao. Boom! Ling Xiao did not even look at Zhang Qian. He did not even stop for a moment as he continued to walk forward calmly. When Zhang Qian's palm strike landed on Ling Xiao's body, it landed on the golden light and was unable to move forward. Then, an unparalleled divine force suddenly came back, accompanied by an earth-shattering dragon roar. It completely exploded. Roar! Zhang Qian issued a blood-curdling scream when the terrifying power erupted. His entire body was sent flying backwards at an even faster speed. His arms had exploded into a bloody mist in an instant. He was coughing up blood as he heavily smashed into the ground in the distance. It was unknown whether he was dead or alive. After Ling Xiao had cultivated the earth dragon body, how terrifying was his physical strength. Even an elite of the heaven realm would be blasted apart by Ling Xiao if they fought with just their physical strength. Ling Xiao had still shown mercy. Otherwise, Zhang Qian would not have just lost his arms. His entire body would have been blasted into a fine powder. Seeing the scene in front of them, everyone was dumbfounded. Ling Xiao, who was at the 5th level of the Dragon Tiger realm, did not even make a move. Just the force of his physical body was enough to cripple the arms of a grandmaster. How abnormal was that? Everyone could not believe their eyes. They felt as if they were in a dream. Ji Shuiyao also widened her eyes in shock. Even she would not be able to injure Zhang Qian so severely without making a move. No wonder Ling Xiao dared to come alone. It turned out that he was very confident. Ji Shuiyao recalled that when they entered the Ba Huang secret area, she said that she would protect Ling Xiao. Now that she thought about it, it was a joke. Ling Xiao's true strength was stronger than hers. Only Sun Feng's eyes flashed. Although he had already expected Ling Xiao to be strong, such terrifying physical strength was still beyond his imagination. You? Who exactly are you? Huang Yunji's face revealed an expression as if he had seen a ghost. His voice unconsciously trembled. Chapter 255. Sun Feng, the soul-chasing spear. You're here for me, right? If that's the case, make your move. Ling Xiao ignored Huang Yunji and looked at Sun Feng calmly. His eyes were filled with a strong desire to battle. After cultivating the earth dragon body, Ling Xiao's physical body had reached a terrifying level. Hence, he wanted to see how big the gap was between him and a celestial realm elite. Sun Feng was the best touchstone for this. You're really smart. Sun Feng looked deeply at Ling Xiao. You're worthy of being able to defeat Shi Tianluo with your cultivation at the 3rd level of the Dragon Tiger realm. You should be proud that the Wan Shou sect is so afraid of you that they're willing to pay the price to have me kill you. Sun Feng's words were like a bolt of lightning that shocked Ji Shuiyao and Huang Yunji. What? Ling Xiao defeated Shi Tianluo. Who was Shi Tianluo? He was one of the 7 disciples of the Wanshou sect, a peerless genius of the 8 Desolates region. Although he wasn't considered a top genius, he was still extremely terrifying. At the very least, Shi Tianluo could defeat all the young geniuses of the 4 great ancient nations. However, Sun Feng said that Shi Tianluo was defeated by Ling Xiao. Defeating Shi Tianluo, who was at the 6th level of the Grandmaster realm, at the 3rd level of the Dragon Tiger realm. This kind of terrifying talent made Ji Shuiyao pale in comparison. Ling Xiao defeating Shi Tianluo should have been a big event that would shock the entire 8 Desolates region. However, because it was only a short time ago and the 4 great ancient nations were very far away, Ji Shuiyao and Huang Yunji didn't know about it. Especially Huang Yunji. He originally thought that Sun Feng had come to the 8 Desolates' secret land to protect him. However, he now knew that Sun Feng's real purpose was to kill Ling Xiao. Kill me? You're not qualified. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a bright light flashed in his eyes. Even when facing a celestial realm elite, Ling Xiao didn't show the slightest fear. Instead, a strong desire to battle rose in his heart. He was a supreme being in his previous life and was destined to rule the world in this life. What was a mere celestial realm elite to him? Arrogant. Sun Feng's eyes darkened as a powerful aura emanated from his body and suppressed Ling Xiao. Boom! Although he was unable to unleash the battle prowess of the celestial tier, Sun Feng had long since become one with the world and Zhou Tian as one. He was able to mobilize the power of heaven and earth with his human strength. Suddenly, the void trembled, and a cold and sharp qi locked onto Ling Xiao. It was as vast as the sea, and it wanted to force him to kneel. The reason why a celestial being realm expert could crush a master realm expert was not only because they could mobilize the power of heaven and earth, but also because they had comprehended the momentum of martial arts. With the momentum of the momentum, they were always successful. The force of heaven and earth on Sun Feng's body caused Ji Shuiyao, Huang Yunji, and the others' expressions to change as they retreated. Waves of air billowed and formless qi intertwined. Vast amounts of heaven and earth power gathered and pressed down on Ling Xiao. Scram! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he shouted. Instantly, a violent aura was awakened from Ling Xiao's body. It was domineering, ancient, majestic, and mysterious. Ling Xiao's gaze was as indifferent as steel. He was like a supreme being who looked down on the world, emitting a power that could make the heavens and earth tremble. Rumble. Formless auras collided, causing waves of energy to surge in the air. The earth trembled, and countless plants and rocks were turned into dust. The scene was astonishing. Roar. At the same time, a dragon's roar shook the clouds. Ling Xiao was bathed in golden light as his qi and blood surged. It was as if a blazing sun had formed behind his head. His black hair fluttered and his eyes were bright. His body seemed to be able to support the heavens and earth as he took a step forward. Bang! As if a heavenly drum had been struck, the earth trembled. The intertwined qi in front of Ling Xiao instantly became chaotic. Sun Feng's expression changed as he felt his qi and blood surging. How can this kid have such a terrifying aura? Sun Feng's eyes revealed a trace of shock, and his expression became very ugly. Martial artists cultivated the power of heaven and earth. When martial arts were cultivated to the extreme, they could form their own martial concept. When the martial concept was perfected, one could touch the power of heaven and earth, mobilize the momentum of heaven and earth, and comprehend the profound meaning of martial arts. The momentum here was the momentum of heaven and earth, the momentum of martial arts. Sun Feng originally wanted to use the momentum of heaven and earth to oppress Ling Xiao and make him kneel down. He wanted to win without a fight. After all, Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the Dragon Tiger realm. Although his battle prowess was strong, he was still far from a celestial realm powerhouse. However, he did not expect that not only was Ling Xiao not affected by Sun Feng's momentum of heaven and earth, but he also emitted an aura that shocked Sun Feng. Sun Feng faintly felt that he was not facing a young man, but a supreme master who could sweep through the world. He could not help but tremble in his heart. Bang! Ling Xiao took another step forward. His foot seemed to land on the node of the momentum of heaven and earth, causing Ling Xiao's aura to rise a little more. Bang! 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 Ling Xiao walked towards Sun Feng step by step. Every step he took made his aura stronger. It was as if the momentum of heaven and earth had gathered around Ling Xiao. It was as if the waves of the heavenly river were rolling in reverse, suppressing Sun Feng instead. Boom! Ling Xiao took 9 steps in a row. When the last step landed, the void instantly shook violently. Thunder boomed, and the vast power of heaven and earth condensed behind Ling Xiao, turning into a golden dragon-shaped wave of qi. With a roar, it suddenly pressed down on Sun Feng. Sun Feng's expression changed, revealing an abnormal flush. He instantly retreated more than 10 steps. With a palm across the sky, a palm print exploded, and only then did he manage to disperse the dragon-shaped air wave. Celestial realm powerhouse, that's all there is to it. Ling Xiao's gaze was sharp as he said indifferently. Sun Feng's gaze instantly turned gloomy. At the same time, a huge wave was set off in his heart. He was incomparably shocked. The clash of momentum between the two actually ended with him losing miserably. Ling Xiao only took 9 steps, and he was forced to make a move to disperse it. Therefore, he had completely lost. Ji Shuiyao and Huang Yunji were also stunned. Although they could not see the mystery of the clash of momentum, they could see that Sun Feng had lost in this formless clash. However, Sun Feng was an expert of the heaven realm. How could he lose to Ling Xiao? This simply overturned everyone's understanding, especially Ji Shuiyao. The corner of her mouth revealed a trace of a bitter smile, but her expression also became much more relaxed. The stronger Ling Xiao's battle prowess was, the greater the chance of the grand mysterious ancient kingdom's people escaping alive. Ji Shuiyao became more and more curious. What was the relationship between this youth and her sister? Sharp tongue. I want to see if your strength is as good as your mouth. Sun Feng's gaze was cold, revealing a trace of burning killing intent. The more monstrous Ling Xiao was, the more intense his killing intent was. He must kill Ling Xiao. Otherwise, when Ling Xiao matured, it would be an unimaginable disaster. Boom! Sun Feng's body emitted a powerful cultivation fluctuation. With a flash of light in his hand, a black war spear appeared, emitting a deep light and unparalleled sharpness. Soul-chasing spear. If you want to fight, then let's fight. What's with all the nonsense? Ling Xiao's eyes also revealed a trace of powerful battle intent. The blood in his body boiled as he urgently wanted to fight Sun Feng. Roar. Chapter 256. Rumble. The earth rumbled and the forest howled. Many towering ancient trees collapsed and turned into dust. It was as if thousands of soldiers and horses were galloping. Ling Xiao, Sun Feng, and the rest were shocked and turned to look in that direction. Roar! Roar! A terrifying evil aura filled the air. Many giant black apes rushed out from the forest. Each of them had shiny black fur and a monstrous demonic aura. They were about 10 feet tall and their arms were so long that they almost touched the ground. The galloping and howling earlier were caused by this group of giant apes. As far as the eye could see, there were more than 100 giant apes. Their eyes were blood red and filled with murderous intent as they stared fixedly at Ling Xiao and the others. This was especially true for the giant ape in the lead. It was over 100 feet tall and looked like a small mountain. It held a large iron staff in its hand, and its entire body emitted a monstrous baleful aura. It bared its teeth and let out a loud roar. Long-armed giant apes. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he immediately revealed a trace of seriousness. The group of long-armed giant apes in front of them were the same as the chaotic world demonic apes that Ling Xiao encountered in the ferocious beast mountain range. They were all primordial apes, especially the leader, the long-armed ape king. Judging from the aura on its body, it had actually reached the peak of the 6th rank. The rest of the long-armed giant apes were at least 4th-rank demonic beasts. Most of them were 5th-rank demonic beasts. They stood there beating their chests and their eyes were filled with cold and bloodthirsty murderous intent. Oh no! Sun Feng's expression changed as he felt a strong threat. He retreated without thinking. He was the closest to the group of long-armed giant apes. Especially the long-armed ape king's terrifying aura made his scalp tingle. His eyes were filled with fear. He was no match for a 6th-rank demonic beast. Moreover, the long-armed giant apes were primordial apes. Boom! However, it was too late. The giant iron rod emitted a cold luster like a heavenly pillar. The long-armed ape king lifted it up and smashed it towards Sun Feng. After all, the long-armed ape king sensed that Sun Feng's cultivation was the highest and he was the most threatening one. Therefore, it attacked instantly. Damn it! Sun Feng's expression was extremely ugly. The staff covered an area with a radius of several hundred feet. Demonic chi was rolling, and the divine power was unparalleled. It was as fast as lightning. He had no chance to dodge at all. He could only try his best to perform the soul-chasing spear technique in his hand. The soul-chasing ancient spear rose into the air and blocked the big iron staff. Rumble. As the monstrous divine power descended, the earth shook violently. The surrounding rocks were instantly reduced to dust. The soul-chasing spear in Sun Feng's hand suddenly bent. His face instantly revealed an abnormal flush. He suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood and was instantly sent flying dozens of meters away. His arm was almost numb. Roar! 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 Seeing that the long-armed ape king had made his move, the rest of the great armed apes roared and pounded their chests. They bared their fangs and charged towards Ling Xiao and the rest with wooden sticks, boulders, and even bare fists. Although the giant long-armed ape had a huge body, it was extremely agile. Its speed was extremely fast and it walked like the wind. That monstrous baleful aura caused many people's faces to instantly turn incomparably pale. Not good. These beasts are too strong, quickly retreat. Ji Shuiyao's expression greatly changed. She quickly brought the geniuses of the grand mysterious ancient kingdom and rushed towards the exit of the mustard seed formation. Roar! One of the great armed apes that rushed at the front instantly arrived in front of a youth from the grand mysterious ancient kingdom. This youth was scared silly. His eyes were full of fear and he couldn't even run. The great armed ape's eyes revealed a hint of cruelty. Its huge palm leaf fan-like hand instantly grabbed the youth's throat. Then, it opened its bloody mouth and directly bit the youth into 2 pieces. It was an extremely bloody scene. Senior Brother Zhao. A girl from the grand mysterious ancient kingdom turned pale with fright and loudly shouted. However, her shout also alarmed a few giant full-armed apes. They rushed toward her at an extremely fast speed, causing her complexion to change greatly. There was no trace of blood in her face, and despair appeared in her eyes. Ling Xiao sighed. These geniuses of the grand mysterious ancient kingdom only had cultivation, but their willpower was too weak. In the face of these great armed apes, their minds were taken away and they were easily buried in their demon stomachs. If that youth from earlier had the courage to fight, even if he wasn't a match, it wouldn't have been difficult for him to escape. Boom! Ling Xiao's body was like a golden lightning bolt. He instantly appeared in front of that girl and punched out with a blazing golden light. He suddenly pushed back the nearest great armed ape. You guys run, I'll cover you. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a cold glint. After leaving behind these words, he rushed towards the two great armed apes. Rumble. Ling Xiao's physical strength was extremely powerful. Even though these great armed apes were archaic variants, they were simply not Ling Xiao's match. After a few punches, they were blown away. At the same time, this also aroused the ferocity of the great armed apes. More and more of them rushed towards Ling Xiao. The girls from the grand mysterious ancient kingdom looked at Ling Xiao with gratitude. Then, they quickly regrouped with Ji Shuiyao and escaped towards the exit of the array. On the other side, the grand yellow ancient kingdom was even more miserable. Although Sun Feng temporarily blocked the great armed ape king, there were still 3 geniuses who couldn't dodge in time. They were torn into pieces by a few great armed apes. The scene was extremely bloody and caused people's scalps to tingle. Huang Yunji was already pale with fright. Under the protection of the 2 youths, he also retreated towards the exit of the array. Boom! Boom! Sun Feng held the soul-chasing spear in his hand as he engaged in a fierce battle with the great armed ape king. Terrifying shockwaves swept out in all directions. Everywhere they went, rocks were turned into dust. Ancient trees collapsed one after another. The great armed ape king was too terrifying. Although there weren't many techniques in the battle between him and Sun Feng, one person could defeat 10 people with brute force. Sun Feng could only dodge in a sorry state. The soul-chasing spear in his hand didn't pose much of a threat to the great armed ape king. The soul-chasing spear left bloody scars on the great armed ape king's body. On the contrary, it aroused the great armed ape king's ferocity. It attacked Sun Feng even more violently. Hurry up and run. I can't hold on for much longer. Sun Feng roared at the Grand Yellow Ancient Kingdoms group. These great armed apes were too ferocious. Moreover, they didn't fear death. Their battle prowess was extremely strong. This caused the geniuses from the 2 ancient kingdoms to lose all their will to fight. Ling Xiao brought up the rear and blocked many great armed apes for Ji Shuiyao and the rest of the Grand Mysterious Ancient Kingdom. In the end, only the unlucky youth from the Grand Mysterious Ancient Kingdom died. The others successfully made it to the exit of the array. Boom! Chapter 257. Roar! Roar! Ling Xiao's battle instantly attracted the attention of the 2 long-armed giant apes that were 30 feet tall. The aura of the 2 giant long-armed apes had reached the peak of rank 5, just a hair's breadth away from rank 6. Their addition instantly put a lot of pressure on Ling Xiao. Rumble! The 2 giant long-armed apes charged towards Ling Xiao at the same time. Their eyes were bloodshot, and the thick steel cudgel in their hands emitted a chilling radiance. They were wrapped in a majestic demonic aura as they charged towards Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. His aura was like a dragon, and he did not dodge. Instead, he punched out with both his fists, using his physical body to resist the thick steel cudgel. Bang! With a loud bang, Ling Xiao and the 2 giant long-armed apes trembled and retreated at the same time. On the other side, the long-armed ape king's aura was like a rainbow. With a swing of his cudgel, Sun Feng was sent flying a few hundred feet away, spurting out blood. Roar! The long-armed ape king's cold gaze fell on Sun Feng. His battle-intent sword, and the demonic aura around him became even more terrifying. He swung his cudgel at Sun Feng. Sun Feng's face was pale, and his aura was weak. At this moment, he no longer dared to tangle with the long-armed ape king. In an instant, he turned into a black shadow and dashed towards the exit of the mustard seed array. Rumble! However, the terrifying demonic aura of the cudgel followed him like a shadow. It emitted a ghostly howl, and the air waves were torrential. Its power was unparalleled. Sun Feng's eyes revealed a trace of sharpness. He grabbed the last young man from the great Huang ancient country and threw him behind him. No. Ah, the young man's face was filled with fear. He let out a miserable cry, and was instantly smashed into a bloody mist by the long-armed Ape King's cudgel. Taking advantage of the moment when the long-armed Ape King was stunned, Sun Feng's figure dashed out of the valley. At this moment, Ling Xiao did not continue to tangle with the giant long-armed apes. He turned into a streak of golden lightning and dashed towards the mustard seed array. Roar! 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 All the giant long-armed apes were enraged. Their cold gazes fell on Ling Xiao, and they chased after him together with the long-armed Ape King. It was as though they wanted to vent all their anger on Ling Xiao. Their eyes were filled with murderous intent. His roar shook the heavens, and the earth shook. Ling Xiao sensed a fatal danger and his gaze turned grave. With his current combat strength, it was impossible for him to defeat the long-armed Ape King. Ling Xiao's heart was filled with questions. The seal of the Ba Huang secret territory was too strange. Why wasn't the cultivation of the creatures in the secret territory restricted? Take the long-armed Ape King as an example. The strength of a peak rank 6 demonic beast was not diminished at all. Ling Xiao, come out. The exit of the mustard seed array was right in front of him. Ling Xiao could already see Ji Shuiyao's anxious face as she urged him to come out quickly. However, at this moment, Sun Feng's ferocious expression appeared in front of Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao was slightly taken aback as a bad premonition arose in his heart. Ling Xiao, go to hell. Ha ha ha. The killing intent in Sun Feng's eyes was incomparably intense. He slammed his palm towards the large green rock outside the exit. That large green rock was the hub of the mustard seed array formation. No, Ji Shuiyao cried out in surprise, but stopped abruptly in an instant. This was because Ling Xiao saw that the light gate formed by the mustard seed array formation instantly disappeared with a loud bang. Ling Xiao's eyes turned bloodshot instantly. Sun Feng, damn you. Ling Xiao clenched his fists so tightly that his fingernails dug into his palms, leaving traces of blood. His heart was filled with towering rage. Roar! At this moment, Ling Xiao could no longer be bothered with his anger. This was because the group of long-armed apes behind him had already surrounded him. Each of their eyes were filled with cold killing intent as they surrounded Ling Xiao. Especially the long-armed Ape King. He was over 100 feet tall and was surrounded by a murderous aura. His blood-red eyes were glaring at Ling Xiao with a terrifying aura. Brother Ape, it's not good to fight and kill. Why don't we have a good talk? Ling Xiao forced a smile on his face as he looked at the long-armed Ape King and said. Since the long-armed Ape King had the strength of a peak rank 6 demonic beast, it should have the intelligence of an ordinary human. Perhaps it could understand Ling Xiao's words. The long-armed Ape King was taken aback as he stared at Ling Xiao. His eyes were still cold and he did not say a word. Brother Ape, you guys must have been trapped in this secret realm for a long time, right? How about this, I'll bring you guys out. Ling Xiao probed. He was a little nervous as he was unsure if the long-armed Ape King could understand his words. Roar! The long-armed Ape King suddenly let out a furious roar. Its blood-red eyes were covered with a layer of black light. A faint murderous aura emanated from its body, giving off a dark, evil, and cold aura. The long-armed Ape King did not hesitate as he raised his huge metal cudgel and smashed it towards Ling Xiao with a murderous aura. Strange black fog. Ling Xiao's body trembled. Although the layer of black light in the long-armed Ape King's eyes was faint, Ling Xiao could still sense it. It was the strange black fog that he had encountered a few times before. How did these long-armed Ape Kings get tainted by the strange black fog? However, Ling Xiao could not be bothered to think about these things at this moment because the long-armed Ape King's metal cudgel was already coming down on him. Light flashed beneath Ling Xiao's feet as he retreated instantly. Rumble. The long-armed ape king's cudgel landed on the ground with a loud rumble. A crack that was dozens of feet long appeared and Ling Xiao was sent flying dozens of feet away by the shockwave. What a freak! It's worthy of being an archaic variant. This violent strength is even stronger than mine. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of astonishment. After he had cultivated the earth dragon body, his physical strength had increased by 100-fold. Ling Xiao was confident that he could even kill a rank 6 demonic beast with a single punch. However, the long-armed ape king was too terrifying. With the strength of a peak rank 6 demonic beast and the bloodline of an archaic variant, it was similar to the chaotic world demonic ape. It possessed a strength that was close to that of a demonic lord. Ling Xiao could not help but admit his inferiority. Roar! Under the command of the long-armed ape king, all the long-armed ape kings began to go on a rampage. Each of them thumped their chests and pounced towards Ling Xiao without fear of death. Bastards, do you really think I'm afraid of you? A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes, and he suddenly opened his mouth and roared. Roar! A dragon's roar came from Ling Xiao's mouth. It shook the heavens and exuded an ancient and mysterious aura. At the same time, the secret skill of the ancestral dragon in Ling Xiao's body exploded. The blood of the earth dragon in his body began to burn. A powerful dragon's aura, as if the archaic dragon had awoken from its slumber, emanated from Ling Xiao's body. The dragon tribe was the supreme divine beast, the ruler of the billions of demonic beasts. They had once dominated an era, killing archaic divine demons and hunting archaic behemoths. They were the top tribe. Therefore, the aura of the dragon tribe was extremely intimidating to most demonic beasts. Even though this group of giant long-armed apes possessed a trace of the primordial bloodline, they were still ordinary demons after all. When they felt the pure dragon's might from Ling Xiao's body, their eyes were immediately filled with fear. Only the long-armed ape king was not afraid. Although his eyes were filled with fear, he remained where he was and did not continue to attack Ling Xiao. Chapter 258. However, he did not let his guard down. He continued to use the secret skill of the ancestral dragon, exuding a vast and majestic dragon aura. His expression was calm and indifferent as he walked towards the giant long-armed apes. No matter what, he could not lose his momentum. As expected, all the giant long-armed apes could not help but tremble when they felt the dragon aura getting closer and closer. They automatically opened a path for Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao walked past the giant long-armed apes calmly with steady footsteps. The group of giant long-armed apes behind him stared at Ling Xiao with fear and struggle in their eyes. Since the giant long-armed ape king did not make any moves, all the giant long-armed apes stopped in their tracks. Only when Ling Xiao walked out of the group of giant long-armed apes did he heave a sigh of relief. His back was drenched in sweat. If the giant long-armed apes had broken free from their fear of the dragon aura and were surrounded by them, Ling Xiao would have died without a doubt. However, Ling Xiao had made the right bet. Ling Xiao did not dare to quicken his pace and continued to walk forward slowly. The giant long-armed apes behind him looked at Ling Xiao in silence, forming a strange scene. The immortality peach tree was right in front of him. The immortality peach tree was about 10 feet tall. Its branches and leaves were intertwined with each other and its entire body emitted a faint glow. Although the leaves were sparse, there was a sacred aura around it. Especially the dozens of immortality peaches hanging from the branches. Each of them shone with golden light and a fragrant smell. It was obvious that they were precious treasures. Around the immortality peach tree, there were 2 giant long-armed apes who were about to pick the immortality peaches. However, when they felt the dragon aura from Ling Xiao, they immediately became obedient and stood there, not daring to move. The closer Ling Xiao got to the immortality peach tree, the more he struggled in his heart. These giant long-armed apes were most likely the demonic beasts guarding the immortality peach tree. The immortality peaches were already ripe. If he left now, the immortality peaches would fall into the hands of these giant long-armed apes. However, if he were to pick the immortality peaches, the giant long-armed apes would probably break free from their fear of the dragon aura and turn around to hunt him down. What should he do? Ling Xiao had already reached the immortality peach tree. The two giant long-armed apes were only rank 4 demonic beasts. At this moment, their bodies were trembling and their eyes were filled with fear. Let's go all out. A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes, and he immediately made up his mind. If he gave up the peaches of immortality now, he might not have another chance. If he didn't take it, he would be punished instead. How could he leave such a heavenly treasure to these beasts? Ling Xiao made up his mind and threw out 2 punches at lightning speed. His fists were blazing hot and directly knocked the 2 long-armed giant apes unconscious. At the same time, a bright light flashed in Ling Xiao's hand. The evil vanquisher sword emitted a sharp light as it slashed the area around the immortality peach tree. In an instant, the immortality peach tree was uprooted by Ling Xiao. Then, he quickly put it into his longevity ring and used his movement technique to rush forward. Ling Xiao's series of actions were done in one go. By the time the group of apes reacted, Ling Xiao had already kept the ancient peach tree into his longevity ring. Roar! The long-armed ape king's eyes were filled with rage. At this moment, he no longer cared about Ling Xiao's powerful dragon aura. He grabbed his huge metal rod and chased after Ling Xiao with all his might. The long-armed ape king had been waiting for the peaches of immortality to ripen for hundreds of years. He was waiting for the peaches of immortality to ripen so that he could break through to rank 7 demon lord. In the end, the long-armed ape king's peaches were taken by this audacious brat. How could he take this lying down? The long-armed ape king's body was filled with murderous aura. His eyes were filled with murderous intent as he roared and charged forward. Under the lead of their king, all the giant long-armed apes instantly forgot about the deterrence of the dragon's might and roared loudly as they chased after Ling Xiao. Rumble! The earth trembled as if thousands of horses were galloping. Hundreds of long-armed apes turned into a flood and chased after Ling Xiao in a frenzy. Isn't it just a few peaches? These beasts have gone mad. Ling Xiao was also shocked and ran even faster. He unleashed all his cultivation. His entire body was like a bolt of golden lightning. He pierced through the void, passed through the dense forest, and fled towards the mountain peak in the distance. Behind him, the long-armed ape king, who was more than 100 feet tall, chased after Ling Xiao as fast as lightning. Moreover, its speed was getting faster and faster, leaving all the long-armed apes behind. All the rocks and ancient trees in its way were smashed into smithereens. It hated Ling Xiao to the extreme and its furious roar echoed through the forest. Ling Xiao had no doubt that if he dared to stop, he would be torn to pieces by the long-armed ape king no matter how powerful the dragon aura was, even if the secret skill of the ancestral dragon was fully unleashed. The valley was huge. The further he went, the more he could feel the vastness of the valley. Ling Xiao saw that at the end of the valley, there was a huge mountain peak that pierced through the clouds. It exuded a vast and ancient aura. The peak of the mountain was shrouded in white clouds. The mountain was majestic, as if it was the king of the mountains. It had an indescribable domineering aura. Moreover, Ling Xiao felt an extremely familiar aura from the mountain peak. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed and he instantly quickened his pace. Swoosh swoosh. Ling Xiao and the long-armed ape king, one running and the other chasing, rapidly approached the mountain peak. The closer they got to the mountain peak, the more Ling Xiao felt the majestic aura of the mountain peak. Moreover, there was a mysterious fluctuation that permeated the air. As for the long-armed ape king, its footsteps slowed down. There was a tinge of fear and indignation in its eyes. It's afraid of the mountain peak. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. His mental strength had been monitoring the state of the long-armed ape king. Therefore, he instantly sensed the long-armed ape king's fear. At the thought of this, Ling Xiao's body moved even faster. Golden lightning flashed and clouds surrounded him, making him look like he was riding on the clouds. The Cloud Dragon 9 Changes, an Earth-class peerless martial skill, was executed to the extreme by Ling Xiao. In just a moment, he had leaped onto the mountain peak before him. Roar! Behind him, the long-armed ape king let out an indignant roar and stopped at the foot of the mountain. Its eyes were filled with indignation and anger. Brother ape, come up if you dare. I'll fight you for 300 rounds. Ling Xiao taunted the long-armed ape king shamelessly. Seeing the long-armed ape king roaring in anger, Ling Xiao laughed out loud and walked up the mountain peak. The mountain peak was majestic and had jagged rocks of strange shapes. However, the trees were sparse and most of them were withered. There was no sign of life. A mysterious fluctuation permeated the air and shrouded the entire mountain peak. There was a faint feeling that caused one's heart to tremble. Ling Xiao followed the mountain path and walked up the mountain peak. Along the way, he saw some broken corpses. There were also some ancient swords and long spears that were stabbed into the huge rocks. However, the essence of the weapons had long dissipated and they had become scrap metal. Chapter 259. Ling Xiao raised his head and saw that the mountain peak was shrouded in clouds. The sky was dark, but he could vaguely see a corner of an ancient palace. It was giving off a holy aura. That is. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He could feel a strange black mist coming from the ancient palace. This mustard seed array has covered such a large area. It seems like it's not just to hide the immortality peach tree. Perhaps its main purpose is to hide this mountain peak. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of seriousness. He took a step forward, stepping on the hard mountain rocks as he walked towards the ancient palace. Clouds and mist swirled around, and the surroundings were blurry. There were no signs of life. It was as if this place had turned into a deathly stillness. There was only that ancient palace. The closer they got, the more they could feel a mysterious aura spreading out. Holy yet evil, bright yet dark. That ancient palace gave Ling Xiao a very strange feeling. There were more and more corpses around. There were broken weapons and broken rocks. There were still traces of a great battle. Time had washed away everything, but it couldn't hide the past. Ling Xiao saw a dragon-shaped saber. It was still emitting a cold saber intent and killing intent. However, the blade was broken. It should have been a powerful Dao artifact, but it had lost its power. Ling Xiao also saw a white skeleton. The bones were hard and gave off a faint glow. There was a black bull horn on the abdomen that had pierced through his body. The space between his eyebrows was cracked and his true spirit had dissipated. Such hard bones could only be left behind by a monarch realm expert at the very least. Ling Xiao was sad. He thought about the strange black mist and looked at the traces of a great battle. He couldn't help but imagine how tragic the battle was 10,000 years ago. Even the heaven-devouring secret skill couldn't refine the strange black mist. If Ling Xiao didn't have the wordless heavenly book that could counter the strange black mist, he would have died. 10,000 years ago, those strange creatures descended and unleashed a great calamity. They ravaged the entire 8 Desolates region, destroying the long-life sect that had swept through the entire region and shocked the world. Jin Sei. Where is she? Did she survive? Ling Xiao sighed. The 8 Desolate secret land was shrouded in layers of mist. Ling Xiao could not help but want to explore it. Back then, the 8 great ancient countries were vassal states of the Longevity sect. They were closely related to the Longevity sect. Maybe they could really find news about Jin Sei. Ling Xiao's footsteps became heavy. Ling Xiao stepped over the piles of corpses and slowly walked to the top of the mountain. There was a simple and unadorned palace there. Although it looked a little dilapidated, it was well preserved. Outside the palace, there were corpses everywhere. There were incense burners, demon-subduing pestles, prayer beads, and wooden fish everywhere. However, most of them were damaged, and there wasn't any precious light. They had all turned into scrap metal. Bang! Ling Xiao kicked a huge bronze plaque. Ling Xiao blew away the dust on it, revealing 4 ancient words. The Great Strength Hall. The Great Buddha Hall of Buddhism. There is no Buddhism in the 8 Desolates region, so why is there a plaque of the Great Strength Hall here? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with doubt. 10,000 years ago, the 8 Desolates region was the territory of the Longevity sect. There were no traces of Buddhism. However, there was a plaque of the Great Strength Hall on this mountain, which surprised Ling Xiao. Finally, Ling Xiao's gaze landed on the palace. The 2 stone doors were tightly shut, and there was a mysterious fluctuation coming from them. Ling Xiao walked towards the palace slowly and stood in front of the huge stone door. He placed his palm on the stone door. It was bone-chilling to the touch, and there was a chill that could freeze one's soul. Open! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and unparalleled divine energy exploded from his body. The 2 stone doors were instantly pushed open by him. In an instant, a strange black fog surged over like a bloody mouth, wanting to swallow Ling Xiao whole. Ling Xiao was already prepared. His eyes flashed with a cold light, and the wordless heavenly book in his sea of consciousness shook slightly. A mysterious light rolled out from his glabella, and it devoured all the strange black mist. Inside the palace, there was an 8 treasures lotus pond of virtue. It was refined, and there was a faint Buddhist light around it. There was also a strange black mist lingering around it. In the middle of the pond of virtue sat an ancient monk wearing a kasaya. There were 10 incense scars on his head, and he was emitting a mysterious aura. The ancient monk looked lifelike, and his eyes were lowered. He had a benevolent look on his face, and his entire body was emitting a clear and benevolent aura. However, the strange thing was that half of his body was emitting a golden light, and the other half was emitting a black light. With the glabella as the dividing line, half of his body was shining with Buddhist light, and the other half was emitting an eerie demonic aura. The 2 auras of holiness and evil intertwined, making him look exceptionally evil. And those black lights were the strange black fog. Why is there an ancient monk here? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he slowly walked towards the pond of virtue. This 8 treasures lotus pond of virtue, and virtue was in the shape of a refinement. There were a total of 8 petals, and each petal had an ancient rune. There was a thread between them that slowly intertwined and suppressed the body of the ancient monk in the center. Other than the 8 treasures lotus pond of virtue, the entire palace was very spacious, but there was a mysterious flow of energy. When Ling Xiao saw the runes on the 8 petals, his eyes were instantly filled with excitement. The 8 Desolation Demon Suppression Array. This is Jin Sei. It's Jin Sei's work. So Jin Sei really came here. Ling Xiao's heart was in turmoil, and his originally calm state of mind was instantly lost. He was so excited that his entire body trembled. The 8 Desolation Demon Suppression Array was the array that Ling Xiao had imparted to Jin Sei in the past. When Ling Xiao had become the world's #1 sovereign, he had used the power of yin and yang, wind, thunder, volcano, and the power of the laws of heaven and earth to form a sovereign god array. It had the power to kill sovereigns, slay gods, and exterminate demons. In the world, other than Ling Xiao, only Jin Sei could set it up. However, before Ling Xiao could test the power of the 8 Desolation Demon Suppression Array, he had already died in the Scarlet Dragon's secret territory. Ling Xiao had not expected to see the 8 Desolation Demon Suppression Array here. The 8 treasures Lotus Pond of Virtue and Virtue was actually formed from the energy of the earth veins and the power of the laws of heaven and earth. And this ancient monk in front of him had actually become the eye of the 8 Desolate Devil Suppression Grand Formation. Ling Xiao was incomparably shocked. It seemed that the ancient monk must have been a sovereign when he was alive. Otherwise, he would not have been qualified to be the Array I of the 8 Desolation Demon Suppression Array. Ling Xiao carefully examined the array and found that it had indeed merged with the laws of heaven and earth of the entire 8 Desolation secret territory. It contained a strong sealing power. However, what surprised Ling Xiao was that the ancient monk in front of him did not have any vitality, but why was he tainted by the strange black gas? Could it be that the strange creature suppressed in the underground sea is under this mountain? You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.